Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unreal Fest. Are you ready? Let's go. Thank you so much for joining us here in Chicago, and thanks to everyone watching on the live stream. Once again, we're joined by luminaries from AAA game studios, indie teams, Fortnite creators, and filmmakers who are all shaping the future of entertainment. And we've got innovators from robotics, architecture, automotive, and so many more industries who are taking the power of Unreal to new frontiers. There are over 100 sessions and hands-on labs to choose from. So if you don't have the event app yet, take a quick snap of this QR code, download it, and build your plan for the next 2 days. Be sure to check out all the demos and games on the expo floor. Swing by the Learning Theater along with the Dev Lounge, where you can get some technical help from our team. So we're here to celebrate your success and give you a glimpse of where we're headed in the future. We have a lot of great stuff to show, but just a heads up, we're not doing a live tech demo on stage this year. The team's been really hard at work, making an awesome new engine release and building the foundation of Unreal Engine 6, which you'll hear more about later. Before we get into what's new, we want to give a shout out to a few groundbreaking projects. Last year, just before Unreal Fest, Sandfall Interactive released Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which, give it up, which became the breakout hit of 2025. And now, a year later, the game has received over 500 awards, the most awarded game in history. Congratulations to the team for all of your achievements, and we can't wait to see what's next. Arc Raiders is another huge success story. From October to February, the extraction shooter sold more than 14 million copies. Embark built the game's massive open world, leveraging UE5 and Epic Online Services voice chat capabilities to give millions of players an awesome social experience at a peak scale of 960,000 concurrent users. K-pop Demon Hunters was the most watched movie in Netflix history, winning 2 Academy Awards, a landmark moment for the animation industry. Sony Pictures Animation and ImageWorks transformed their pipeline by moving to real-time previs and layout, using Unreal Engine to cut production time by an estimated 25%. That's months of work saved. And because the team used real-time ready assets in production, we were able to pull off a Fortnite collab in record time. This was a full ecosystem moment that kicked off with a Demon Rush limited time mode, and it continued across Blitz, Reload, and Zero Build, with cosmetics in the item shop. We did all of this and launched UEFN developer tools in 2 months. Unreal continues to gain momentum beyond entertainment. SAS is an enterprise leader in enterprise analytics, AI, and data management. They're developing incredibly complex Unreal Engine digital twin simulations across industrial manufacturing, worker safety, life sciences, and other industries. Now, these digital twins help businesses make operational decisions in simulation before a single machine moves, a single worker is put at risk, or a single dollar is spent on the wrong configuration. All of this, games, animation, and enterprise solutions built on Unreal Engine 5. Now, we revealed UE5 6 years ago. Since then, release by release, we've shipped many features required to deliver stunning, high-fidelity open worlds running at 60 frames per second. We've also been working to unlock real workflow improvements so you can create faster and more efficiently. Nanite minimized manual LOD pipelines. Lumen nearly eliminated light baking. MetaHuman reduced the time to make great-looking characters from months to days to even minutes. Sequencer and Control Rig made it possible to animate really complex character performances in Engine without leaving the editor. World Partition made streaming massive open worlds possible without leaning on critical engineering resources. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since the launch of UE5, but it's inspiring to see what you've done. To share what's in our latest release, please welcome mon ami, Simon Tourangeau.
Thanks, Bill. Good morning. It's great to be back to share the latest on Unreal Engine. Over the last few releases, the feedback we've heard most from studios is make it fast, make it stable. So we've been focused on exactly that, performance. Take 5.7. We improved performance by up to 25% on the GPU and up to 35% on the CPU, giving you smoother frame rates. Today, we're releasing Unreal Engine 5.8, which is all about building on that momentum to give you more headroom, fewer hitches, and less friction between an idea and what you can actually ship. A big part of 5.8 is maturity. Systems that were experimental or beta in previous releases are now crossing the line into production readiness. The headliner is megalights. Thousands of dynamic shadow casting lights and area lights in a scene at a fixed cost. What used to be a performance lift becomes a creative tool. Artists can light with fewer compromises, and teams can spend less time budgeting every dynamic light. Around it, LiveLink Hub, Movie Render Graph, Chaos Cloud authoring through data flow, Audio Insights, and Iris are production ready too. We also made it simpler to scale to the different platforms. Lumen, our dynamic global illumination system, now has a lightweight mode called Lumen Light, designed to preserve much of the visual impact at a significantly lower GPU cost. That makes Lumen viable where it wasn't before, including on Switch 2. And that work is already helping drive further nanite optimization efforts for the platform. Now, let's talk about something every developer in this room has felt. Yeah, the hitch, the frame spike, the long shader compile. The moment your game pauses and you wonder where all that time went. A huge part of that problem is shaders. So we've sharpened the compiler and improved deduplication to strip out redundant work. Less to compile, less to load, less getting in your way. In Fortnite, that work combined with content changes contributed to a 68% reduction in shader count. Faster cooks, faster loads, lighter memory. Jason and John's talk tomorrow goes deep on how they got there. But shaders are only half the story. The other half is pipeline state objects, or PSOs. A PSO is the bundle the GPU needs to draw an effect. Shaders, blend modes, render state, all of it. Miss one at runtime, and the driver has to assemble and compile it on the spot. That's your hitch. And those are the bugs that are notoriously hard to hunt. Luckily, we have just the guy to do it. So in 5.8, we've improved PSO pre-caching. Fallback rendering is far less visible while PSOs are still compiling. And the whole system is easier to tune, debug, and profile. These are not flashy changes, but if you've been chasing itches, you'll feel the difference the first time you boot. And we're not done. We're working with Microsoft and hardware partners on advanced shader delivery, a DirectX 12 initiative that allows us to ship pre-compiled shaders to players, moving more shader work out of the player's runtime experience. The rollout is ramping, and we'll let you know more about this soon. Now, here's a brand new experimental feature we're shipping in 5.8, mesh terrain. We wanted to move beyond the limits of height map-based landscapes where every point can only move in one direction, and the fixed grid means you can't adjust the resolution to add detail or optimize areas. Mesh terrain is a new way to author complex terrain without being locked to a height field. And it's more than just a mesh. It's partitioned for collaborative workflows, supports world partition streaming, and is designed to scale across platforms using the same source assets while tuning the runtime representation for each platform using Nanite when available. With mesh terrain, you have full 3D manipulation capabilities. Overhangs, tunnels, floating islands, shapes you simply couldn't build before. And because it's mesh-based, you can also control tessellation at the triangle level. That means adding detail exactly where it matters, while saving memory and performance where it doesn't. As you'd expect, you can paint material layers, but also additional attributes, and it supports virtual texture with automatic UV generation. Mesh terrain uses non-destructive modifiers and procedural tooling, so iteration becomes dramatically easier. Everything can be layered, reordered, combined, and adjusted at any point in time. So you can literally move mountains. It also works natively with PCG and comes with an expanded modeling toolset. But best of all, in our ongoing Fortnite optimization efforts, mesh terrain has a smaller memory footprint and runs faster than landscape. Higher quality, lighter costs, more creative and technical freedom. That's mesh terrain. Another big focus of 5.8 is helping you go faster from idea to result. Performance capture has matured to scale from one operator at a desk to a full mocap stage with control over every recording device on set, including video. And we're taking that further. Earlier this year, Meshcapade joined Epic, bringing world-leading technology for markerless motion capture from video. We've already started integrating it into the ecosystem, and today we are releasing the MetaHuman Animator markerless motion capture plugin on Fab. You can drive a character's body, face, and hands from regular video. No suits, no markers, video in, animation out. For animators pursuing feature quality work, this is our most significant animation release yet. We've made high-end animation workflows more interactive, more intuitive, and more connected to the creative process. From sculpting directly on stylized rigs, to controls that live on the character itself, to a simplified timeline that keeps you focused on the performance. These are the same tools our animation team uses every day, and now they're available to everyone, and we're releasing the sample with 5.8. On the cinematic side, offline depth of field gets a major upgrade. We now render the blur the way a real camera makes it, by sampling the scene from multiple points across the lens. So you get physically accurate defocus, even on translucency and thin geometry. For productions working with ultra-high resolution media, the new tiled MIP-map video format gives you compressed video that holds up at scale. It only decodes the tiles and MIP level your viewport actually needs, so you don't pay to process pixels no one is looking at. So that's the flyby. If any of this caught your ear, you can find deep dive sessions in the Unreal Fest app. And if 5.8 is about reducing friction across the engine, there's one more place we're starting to do that, how people interact with the editor itself. But to tell you more, here's Michael. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Now, at times, making games can be hard, expensive, and slow, where the gap between what you can imagine and what you can make is held back by technical overhead. I don't know about you, but spending hours in a node graph trying to untangle and understand what's going on just to change one thing is not my idea of creativity. There has to be a better way to do this. So that's what we've been working on. Tools that enable you to build faster and iterate more. Now, Unreal has been built on a simple idea: your source, your pipeline, your workflow. Give developers complete control over the tools and get out of the way. That philosophy hasn't changed. We're just applying it to large language models. Now, in 5.8, we've implemented an MCP server that acts as a bridge between Unreal and any model that you want. For this presentation, we're going to be using Claude Code, but you can use Gemini, your own custom model, whatever you want. Enabling the Unreal MCP is as simple as turning on the plugin, doing a bit of config, and connecting to the model of your choice. And everything you're about to see today runs on that setup. Now, these are still early days, and models will still do some really unpredictable things. However, with this approach, we maintain the ability to go in and edit as you would any Unreal scene. OK, let's see this in action. On the left, we have Unreal Engine. On the right is a terminal running Claude Code. you can see every message going back and forth. Cloud Code is talking to Unreal through the MCP server, reading the scene, and taking actions directly inside the engine. So let's start with something small, a modern living room. We start by giving the model some context, what we want to build, and whereabouts in the level. And to make sure everyone can follow along, we're showing a summarized version of each prompt as we go. But if you want the full details, you can still see that in the terminal window. We're going to speed things up from here for presentation purposes, but everything you're seeing is real work happening inside the engine. So we can ask for the basics, a sofa, a rug, and a coffee table. Then fill it in with chairs, a lamp, and a side table. Semantic search, which is part of the 5.8 release, pulls assets from your library that fit that description. And because this is Unreal, we can also manually add a chair, describe it as a reading nook, and the model will furnish the room accordingly. Every step here is a creative decision that you're making. Models are good at broad iterations. You're good at knowing exactly what you want. Those same principles work whether you're furnishing a room or whether you want to scale up and build an entire city. So let's take that same approach and build a city. You start by drawing the boundary. From there, you can decide where the districts go and what characteristics each one has. Highways cut through on your direction, and from those, the road network starts to fill in. Buildings come up. The model here is using semantic search to find the right assets from your library and place them in the level. Ask for a forest around the edge, and it can fill that in. At every step, you're making the calls. And what do you end up with? It's not a rendered image. It's real geometry, real procedural content generation graphs that you can open, edit, and modify. And this works for a whole team, too. Other developers can work on their own sessions, building assets and dropping them straight into the city. The road network adjusts, the blocks update, and the city absorbs it. Different people, different sessions, and it all works together. So how does all of this actually work? With the MCP server as the bridge between Unreal and your model, it gives your model the ability to read your scene, understand your assets, and make changes directly in the engine. And because it's open, you're not locked into any particular model or workflow. Now, while large language models are great at language and reasoning, they don't naturally think spatially. Unreal does. To help connect the two, we're giving you over 80 foundational procedural content generation building blocks, a library of examples, and skills that encode specific Unreal workflows. Now, this is experimental, and it's going to keep getting better. This is where you come in. Tell us what's working. Tell us what's not. That's how we're going to make this better. Now that the city is built, we want to light it. Getting lighting right on Unreal is a skill that means touching dozens of parameters that all need to work together. Light balance, cloud materials, sky atmosphere, post-process. That's a lot to know. But by creating a dedicated lighting skill, you just describe what you want, and the model orchestrates that all for you. Ask for a purple dusk, and there it is. Under the hood, it's adjusting all those settings in concert. Then we can ask for overcast skies. And this is a good example of where the model gets things wrong. It misread the sky and tweaked the cloud material the wrong way. But you can see exactly what happened, correct it in the next prompt, and you're right back to where you want to be. Because models also have real-world knowledge, you can just say, Bogota at 9:30 in the morning. And it will go and figure out the sun position, direction, temperature, and atmosphere that actually matches that. And if you want to match something specific, you can take an image. So here we used one of Vancouver, and ask it to replicate that look. It uses screenshots to assess and iterate until it gets there. And everything is still editable. Grab a road and move it, the city adjusts around it. Ask it to make a building taller or more prominent in the scene, and it does that. But then you can go in and modify any individual asset, making it exactly the way that you want it. This isn't a generated image that you're stuck with. It's a real scene in Unreal, and you control every part of it. Now, let's look at one intersection. We wanted to add a hazard zone, flashing lamps, steam, and a sense of danger as the player gets close. That normally means days of back and forth across multiple disciplines. So here's what we did instead. The warning lamp already has a material, but let's say you want to add something to it. You ask the model to read the existing graph, build the new logic, and insert it right where it needs to go. You can then jump into the material instance editor and tweak the final values by hand. Then you take a Niagara template and extend it, adding a single parameter that drives multiple emitters at once, giving you control over the whole effect in one place. You build out the HUD through prompting in UMG, status display, danger meter, warning states. Then blueprint logic ties it all together. A proximity trigger connected to the material, the Niagara system, and the HUD. Walk in, and everything fires at once. All right, so let's run it. Lamps are off, it's quiet. She walks toward the site, the lamps come on, the steam starts rising. She steps inside, lamps are flashing, steam's pouring in, and the site is erupting. What we've shown here today would take months to build by hand. But with the MCP server and Unreal, our artists were able to make all of this in days. When you lower the technical friction, you can iterate more and make better games. That's what we've built. This is really just a starting point. Bring your own primitives, your own examples, your own skills built around your pipelines. The more your team puts in over time, the more useful it gets for everyone on the project. We're shipping the MCP server, the PCG primitive plugin, and the skills we've developed as part of 5.8 today. It's open, and it's yours to extend. Go download it, point your model at it, and see what you can do. If you want to go deeper, we've got 2 chances to catch our Tech Talk here at Fest. Come find us. Now I'm going to hand it over to Pat to talk about how some of what I've shown you impacts linear content creation in the engine.
Thanks, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name is Pat Tubach. I've got a background in film and television. For media and entertainment, the MCP plugin that Michael just showed you opens up a wide range of new connections to LLMs, but also to image and video models like Nano Banana, GPT Image, Grok Imagine, Luma, Seedance, and many more. Michael was telling you about tools in the present, and I'm going to cover tools for creating linear content that are releasing early next year that give you control over these models. The standard approach to using an image model is to start by crafting a text prompt. In this case, I wrote a novel describing a fictional scene in Epic Motors, a 1950s gas station. But in professional situations where you have to hit story points, match exact continuity, and deliver what your creative director wants, you would typically communicate visually through sketches and pre-riz. Unreal is great for that. So, to get started in Unreal, I scouted the derelict corridor scene from Quixel that's available on Fab, which I quickly customized to look like the gas station layout I needed. I worked in detail lighting mode, since I was just using this for blocking to this stage. I dropped in some of the appropriate assets from that map: shelving, a propane tank, a cabinet, and also made proxy shapes for the assets that I didn't have: a long counter, more shelving, a cash register, and an ice chest. Then I backed up and framed my camera view and animated a boom down and a push in that I'd later use for my shot. But before I tackled the full video creation, I had to create a single style frame, the visual reference of my scene. To do that, I used the model to combine a depth pass plus the prompt novel I'd written before. The depth conditions the models to understand the layout and the framing. Here's how that works using our new tools in Unreal. I asked Claude Code, connected by our MCP plugin, to use Unreal's movie render graph to create a 4K image, plus all the rest. Asking for an Unreal render to create the image was a signal to Claude Code that I wanted to give my model my depth pass, but use the creative look described in my prompt. I then fired off that request. And while it was being generated, I inspected the graph that it made for the task. Image models are hungry for helpful data and conditioning, and so I prepared a process that pulls valuable visual data from the Unreal scene and passes it to the image model. In this case, Google's Nano Banana Pro. Now, let's take a look at this image more closely. You can see that it did a great job matching the visual detail I asked for, but most importantly, it didn't place things randomly. It matched the composition of my Unreal viewport exactly. From there, I could start to iterate. For example, I wanted another tire on the floor, but I didn't have that particular asset because it was an image model creation. Using the new image segmentation tools in the editor to mask the tire, I selected both the mask and the image, and with a predefined workflow, asked Claude Code to extract it, repair it, and mesh it using Trippo 3.1. And then I double-checked that graph, and I supervised the work. Now, of course, this is not a real-time process, so after several minutes, I got my textured tire mesh. I saved it to the content browser, where I then pulled in the tire and positioned it in 3D space. And finally, I asked Claude Code to add the tire to the image. Let's take a look at that result. So if we compare my UE passes with the tire in it, you can see that it put the new tire where I asked it to, and it made it look like a variation of the generated tire, not an exact duplicate. All right, now let's add something totally new to the scene by going back to the viewport for another round in 3D. I went browsing on Fab and found one of our junkyard car parts for Megascans. I picked the specific fender piece that I wanted that had a 1950s look modeled into it to leave less to the image model's imagination. I asked Claude Code to add it to my image and make it look like it had been newly repainted. And after another image processing step in Nano Banana, that was done. Okay, now that I produced my style frame, I was ready to go back to our new Unreal tools to generate a video of our scene. And here's my shot camera move again. If you recall, this is the move that I created at the beginning. Over on the right, I ran a sequence render node that represents the depth over the entire range. I'm going to use the same depth restyling process with the video that I did on the still image. I supply the style frame I just generated to the video model as a first frame reference, and you can see that I added a cat, just hoping for a bit of life. And then I set my video generation node to use Seedance 2.0, set the resolution, added audio, and then I was off. Once that process had run for several minutes, I had a video that looked like this. So clearly, this is showing you that I can control the camera, but nobody controls a cat. All right, let's leave the garage and the cat and move on to an apartment. This is a different workflow that we've been building in parallel for more rapid concepting with diffusion and your viewports side by side. What you're seeing here in this video is the UE viewport on the left that was streaming to a local Flux Klein image model on the right. The local model result isn't temporally coherent. It was stamping a new image on every frame and only running a few frames a second, which is why it seems slower over there on the right. But let me show you how intuitive it is to use. I prompted for sunset lighting at first, and then decided to see what it would look like if there had just been a fire in this apartment. And then I tried something more extreme, like being underwater at the bottom of a murky pond. The real benefit you get here is being able to go back to the UE viewport, interact with the assets, and see them repositioned through this new diffusion lens. Not only that, but you can try more illustrated looks, like a charcoal drawing or even a watercolor painting. As models get more capable and hardware improves, it's not hard to project this workflow forward to a time when diffusion's real-time and temporally consistent. Okay, let's look at some other examples of Unreal Engine scenes restyled by artists in the engine using a variety of sources, some of which are premium environment packs from our friends at Kitbash 3D, and some of which are our own internal assets, including the city sample. Starting from quality source assets leaves less room for interpretation by the models. We think these new UE tools are a force multiplier that will give artists more opportunities for creative iteration on their work alongside the real-time animation, modeling, texturing, and virtual production tools that you've come to count on in Unreal Engine. So this is where we're headed. The MCP server that's enabling all this is experimental, and what you're seeing here for image and video creation will be available early next year. We're on this journey together, and we're aware that for these models to be truly useful, we need to focus on not just lowering technical complexity, but also giving you full creative control over what you're making. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat. That was awesome. All right, so now you've seen more, even great features, workflow improvements that are all going to help you make awesome games and content. So let's talk about distribution. 2025 was a year of growth for the Epic Game Store, and we're off to a great start in 2026. In our year in review, we reported that December monthly active users reached 78 million, an all-time record for the Epic Game Store. And players spent $1.16 billion in the store across third-party and first-party titles. That's up 6% year over year. If you just look at third-party titles, player spending hit $400 million. That's up 57% year over year. And we now have over 6,000 games in the catalog from over 3,000 partners. We offer multiple ways for you to help your business grow. In June of 2025, we announced that developers would keep 100% of the first $1 million of net revenue per product per year, with an industry-leading 88/12 rev share kicking in after that million. We've got Epic First Run, which gives developers the opportunity to keep 100% of net revenue for the first 6 months before launching on other stores. And we also have Launch Everywhere with Epic, which gives UE developers a reduced engine royalty rate of 3.5%, down from 5%, when they sim ship their title on the Epic Game Store. Finally, we continue to push on Epic Rewards, granting 5% back to players on all third-party content purchases that are processed by Epic. Now, last year we had a 20% rewards boost through the back half of the year, and we're seeing players continue to spend at heightened levels using the rewards that they accumulated and earned during the promotional period. In fact, spending through the first 4 months of the year on third-party games is up over 40% year over year. So beyond these great incentive programs, we're really working to connect the Epic Game Store more closely with the Fortnite ecosystem. And that'll give developers access to an even larger player base. Take our collab with Hoyoverse as an example. When players purchased eligible items in Honkai Star Rail on the Epic Game Store, they were granted a Stellaron Hunter Blade outfit that could be used across the entire Fortnite ecosystem, in Battle Royale or in thousands of UEFN games. So some players discovered Honkai Star Rail for the first time in Fortnite. Then they went on to spend on the game in the Epic Game Store, and their spend unlocked a new outfit that they brought back into Fortnite. It's a virtuous circle for both developers and players. We've got over 30 million, sorry, not 30 million, that would be a lot, 30 similar collabs planned for 2026, with more coming in 2027. So we're delivering great incentives for both developers and for players, but we need to make the store experience better. And over the last several months, the team's been hard at work rebuilding the launcher. Our goal here is to dramatically improve performance with reduced cold start times and much faster browsing. We've also been re-architecting the back end of the store, which is going to allow us to ship new player-facing features faster and more frequently. We'll be improving search and discovery, adding a lot of long-awaited community features, and doubling down on delivering an overall better player experience. We are committed to growing the Epic Game Store, and we're not relenting in our mission to give developers access to a high-value global player base with the most favorable terms in the industry. You can learn more about our plans for the Epic Game Store in this session tomorrow. And now that we've covered a bit of what's happening in our ecosystem, let's hear from some of the teams putting it all to work. First, 20 years after Emergence Day, the Coalition is finally telling the story they've always wanted to tell. Darker, more alive, and running at 60 frames per second with hundreds of shadow casting lights. Then, Riot Games is doing something most studios would never attempt, rebuilding a live PC and mobile game with 300 million players on a new engine, all while keeping the live service running. And finally, the small team at Neon Giant set out to build the densest, most lived-in city they could have ever imagined, a city where every frame tells a story and every choice you make becomes a part of that story. 3 games, 3 very different worlds, 1 engine. Up first, please welcome Kate Rayner from the Coalition.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Rayner. It's great to be able to join you today. Gears of War will celebrate its 20th anniversary this year, and Unreal Engine has been the foundation of every game since the series first debuted in 2006. For Gears of War E-Day, we made the decision to invest in Unreal Engine 5 and start with a blank hard drive and rebuild everything from scratch to achieve the believability of a world in chaos. Emergence Day is the darkest day in our universe, the day the monstrous locust horde emerged from the ground to lay waste to humanity. And to truly feel the emotional impact of that loss, we needed to return to a dark and gritty visual style. Light and shadow do more than just set a tone, and with Unreal Engine 5, we've pushed our signature Gears style to the next level. So, let's show you a taste of what we've built. Welcome to the Pay and Save Superstore in downtown Kelowna. In previous games, a space like this was limited to 3 shadow casters in view. With Megalights, we now have hundreds of light sources, all casting shadows at 60 frames per second on Xbox Series X. This TV display wall utilizes animated area lights with light functions that are driven by the video itself fully on the GPU. They each cast eerie and unsettling dynamic shadows with soft penumbra across the scene. The Pay and Save is a great example of how we've created environments with geometry collection destructible assets like this tiled pillar. These dynamic objects cast and receive light correctly, so destruction stays visually grounded exactly the way you'd expect in the real world. Let's check out the freezer section. All these freezers have multiple area lights inside them to simulate that realistic lighting effect of the frozen food section of your local grocery store. During combat, bullets create a dynamic shatter point in the glass. When it shatters, all the pieces collide with the environment using hardware ray trace collision with physically accurate, translucent reflections. It's amazing to see how many light sources there are in here. There are hundreds of them, from the small lights on Marcus's armor to the large spotlights on the ceiling. There is no way we'd ever be able to achieve this effect or have this many ray-traced area lights on current generation hardware without Megalights. A staple of the Gears franchise, E-holes are back in Gears of War E-Day. So let's open some up. Without all the monsters in the way, you can see all the volumetrics and smoke lit perfectly. One of the things we're super excited about that was unthinkable in the past is having shadows on every single one of our muzzle flashes. This is a really great improvement that adds to the dynamic combat of Gears with a more believable firing experience that puts you right in the middle of the action like never before. Our game isn't limited to just a single space. We can explore the entire city of Kelowna with tens of thousands of shadow casting lights. Delivering E-Day with this level of visual fidelity has not been easy, but we can iterate so much faster with hardware ray trace lumen compared to the baked lighting we used in the past. With Megalights, our lighters are no longer constrained by the number of real-time shadow casters, giving them the freedom to light our game with the same complexity as the real world. And we have 100 times the geometric detail in our assets due to Nanite's micropolygon rendering. All of these systems work together to create a highly scalable engine that allows us to consistently deliver a visual showcase across Xbox and PC. As developers, many of us know there is a difference between a compelling demo and delivering a fully realized vision at 60 frames per second. The Coalition is pushing Unreal Engine 5 and the hardware it runs on to their limits to reimagine the Gears world at an unprecedented level of detail. We can't wait for you to see for yourselves when E-Day launches on October 6th. Thank you.
We're all in! Hold tight while I get us the hell out of here!
We're not out of it yet. Incoming! You son of a bitch! I lost visual! Anyone see it?
Negative! I've lost it!
Hi, I'm Gina, head of tech at Riot on Teamfight Tactics, or TFT as we like to call it. TFT is an auto battler that we originally built as a game mode on the same engine as League of Legends. We built it fast, about 18 weeks from idea to launch, and then it grew way beyond what we expected. TFT has become a leading strategy game with more than 300 million players across the ecosystem, which is kind of wild to say out loud. We've just announced that TFT is moving to Unreal Engine with our next set, Enchanted Wilds. Rebuilding a live game on a new engine while it's still running is not something most games choose to do. It's years of work across engineering, art, design, and production, and that gets even harder when your game is still shipping new sets, events, everything to players on a regular cadence. But that's what we decided to do. I joined Riot to work on TFT, and about 6 weeks in, we made the call to move the game to Unreal. And pretty quickly, we realized this wasn't just about moving engines. It was about what became possible. Building on shared technology, reusing more of what we create, spending less time rebuilding foundations, and more time building TFT. One example is the gameplay ability system. It gives us a more structured and flexible way to build gameplay as the game grows. And for a game like TFT, where every set brings new mechanics, content, and ways to play, that kind of common foundation matters a lot. It gives us shared building blocks, abilities, attributes, and effects that can be reused across very different parts of the game. And that lets us move faster over time. With Unreal, we had to rethink how the game was built. Architecture, networking, gameplay, even the way the game data is structured had to change. And early versions of the game in Unreal just didn't feel right. Performance was rough. We had builds running at around 12 frames per second in an 8-player game, which I'm sure all of you can imagine was not exactly the target. So the first goal for us wasn't innovation. It was parity. We had to get TFT back, and that meant reworking a lot of systems inside Unreal. Some gave us a strong starting point, others required significant customization, and some we rebuilt from scratch. For example, networking. As we built more of the game and added more content, we started to hit limits. With a huge number of gameplay actors in a match, the default replication approach wasn't enough to meet our server and bandwidth performance targets. So, with Epic's help, we evolved our approach, adopting iris networking with push-based replication and fast arrays to get the performance we needed. The hard part wasn't getting something working, it was making it work at scale. Gameplay was another big one. We leaned heavily into the gameplay ability system. It's powerful and helped us get something up and running quickly, which, as many of you know, matters a lot early on. But TFT has sets, modes, and gameplay content that don't always ship on the same timeline. And pretty quickly, we realized we needed a better way to organize all of it. So we ended up using the Game Features plugin to give that content clearer boundaries and a more scalable way to share systems. And that gave the teams more freedom to build. And then there's mobile. A huge part of TFT is that it runs on a wide range of devices, including low-end mobile hardware. That didn't change just because we moved engines. And while this has been one of the hardest parts of the migration, it's also one of the reasons we made the move. Mobile is a huge part of how people play TFT, including me, so we invested deeply in custom rendering, memory management, and scaling the game across devices, working closely with Epic to get TFT running where we needed it to. But we're still early in that journey. We're already sharing much more across PC and mobile than we could before, and there's still a lot more we can do for our mobile players. Content migration. I'm guessing a lot of you already know where this is going. TFT has thousands of assets across art, animation, VFX, and audio that had to be migrated. And every type of content broke differently when we brought it over. VFX alone was a massive amount of work. We weren't just converting assets, we were moving between fundamentally different systems. Getting thousands of assets into the engine was one challenge. Getting them back to the quality bar that players expect was another. And we really underestimated how much time this would take. So a huge part of the effort became building the tooling and pipelines to fix, convert, and validate all that content at scale. And that's where Unreal's extensibility really mattered. We could build the systems we needed to make this possible, because there was no world where we were rebuilding all of that by hand. And we kept running into the same pattern everywhere. Unreal gives you a lot, but getting from Unreal to TFT still took a massive amount of work. We're already seeing the impact of Unreal across TFT. More of the game is built on shared foundations. Mobile and PC share much more of the same UI and underlying systems, and we're able to build on technology and capabilities that exist across Riot. And that's the biggest thing Unreal gave us. Not a feature, leverage. But this move isn't for everyone. For TFT, this is what will let us move faster, take bigger swings, and keep delivering the experiences players expect. Because for us, this is about building TFT into a forever game that players can keep coming back to. And players will get their first opportunity to play TFT on Unreal in just a few weeks. And honestly, I hope players pick it up and say, yeah, this feels like TFT. Because if we've done our job well, they won't be thinking about the engine at all. They'll just be playing TFT. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a great Unreal Fest.
I'm Tor Frick, Creative Director at Neon Giant, here to talk about No Law, the next game from our studio. In our first game, The Ascent, our small team pushed the out-of-the-box UE4 tech to its limit to make a highly detailed, lived-in cyberpunk world. For our new game, No Law, a high-fidelity, immersive, first-person shooter set in the unregulated city of Port Desire, we knew that our best starting point would be building a game around the core feature set of Unreal 5, because a small team like ours needs to work with the engine, not against it. We realized early on that out of the box wouldn't be enough. We had to push beyond the defaults and build our own workflow inside UE5 to make the world we wanted. We're proud of what we did with The Ascent, and No Law is the next step in that same approach. Our constraint was specific. We didn't want the largest world, but the densest, a city that feels lived in at every scale, where every corner carries history and every surface tells a story. Port Desire is shaped by human clutter, cramped market alleys, layered graffiti, worn stickers on electrical boxes, spaces that feel touched and retouched by the people that live there. Our goal was to tell a story with every frame, from a messy apartment where characters go about their lives to the skyline of the city. As a relatively small team, that ambition came with real challenges. We wanted extreme detail everywhere, but we also needed stability and performance without hand optimizing each location. For us, the answer wasn't a single system, but a shift in how we built the world. We prioritized density over scale, and we built a pipeline that let artists handcraft spaces without constantly stripping detail back and without relying on procedural generation. Nanite is what made that approach viable. It lets us keep a high level of detail across surfaces without treating every asset as a trade-off between fidelity and performance. Our custom implementation of FastGeo in combination with the world partition system enables a seamless experience that never breaks. It allows us to have details in every nook and cranny and tell a million small stories. In fact, we have more objects in any given frame than the entirety of the Ascent. With this workflow, we can preserve detail and density in every corner, from the smallest bolt on a freighter to the city as a whole, with no invisible walls and no loading. We build tools inside Unreal to help our artists handcraft the entire city, alley by alley, building by building, block by block. To show Port Desire's full range as an urban city overrun with vegetation, we needed dynamic lighting. From the cozy, lush midday sun to the darkest, the most dangerous alleys where even the bright neon light does not reach. The challenge was maintaining a fully dynamic day, night, and weather system without unpredictable frame times. Lumen gives the foundation for fully dynamic lighting, and mega lights that our artists focus on the believability of the space instead of tuning every single light source. Every believable space needs dozens or hundreds of individual light sources, from the smallest blinking electronic warning light on a camera to the large neon signs above a marketplace. Mega lights allow us to retain the visual fidelity bar we're aiming for while keeping performance considerations low. Once everything is dynamic, it starts to affect the gameplay in more direct ways. Players can shoot out a street lamp, flood a space with a flashlight, or they can leave an area in darkness and have the AI NPCs react to light and shadow, shying away from glare, searching through darkness, or escalating when something feels off.
Let's see who's got the bigger gun, motherfucker!
To make the city feel alive, we leaned on the mass framework to drive our crowds. NPC density and types shift based on time of day, region, and weather. In the slums, a storm clears the streets, but in the more sinful parts of Port Desire, even heavy rain won't slow things down. Mass lets us simulate thousands of characters at once, over 3,000 at any given time, which is also more than the entirety of the Ascent. So the city always feels active, no matter where you are. We're also using MetaHuman, paired with our own character randomization system. Together with MetaHuman Animator, we can generate and bring to life thousands and thousands of variations of characters, so that the main characters and the extras in the background are all unique. We wanted a world that reacted systemically to the player, without us having to hand place effects and destruction. Filling a world of this density and scale with contextual effects while maintaining performance and interactivity was one of our key challenges. By combining PCG and Niagara data channels, environmental effects are procedurally populated where appropriate. Wherever artists place trash or leaves, particles will spawn dynamically based on wind, weather, and player actions. Shoot a bullet or throw a grenade, and particles will move out of the way. We combined chaos physics and their own GPU-driven solution to support tens of thousands of moving objects simultaneously. The result is a reactive environment, where smoke lingers, embers drift, and broken glass stays where it fell. Creating No Law has been the process of finding where the engine ends and our custom tools begin. Achieving this level of density, light and complexity, and systemic reactivity was previously impossible for a studio of our size. By leveraging UE5's latest tech to bypass traditional development bottlenecks, we have finally been able to build the uncompromised version of the world we wanted to create for years. We can't wait for you to experience it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I lead the Fortnite developer relations team here at Epic, and I'm here to talk with you about what's happening in the Fortnite ecosystem. Every one of the games on the screen behind me was built by an independent developer. Small teams, sometimes just 2 or 3 people using UEFN, published into an ecosystem of millions of players. For those of you who have been with us in UEFN, some since day one, thank you. Your feedback has really helped shape the tools, and your creativity has shifted how more than 75 million monthly active users experience Fortnite. Your games are a growing share of Fortnite playtime. In May, we saw them capture 47% of all player hours, up from just 38% a year ago. And with over $1 billion now paid out to developers since the launch of UEFN, these teams are building businesses here through engagement payouts and, as of January, in-island transactions. It's introduced more ways to monetize. It's opened up new genres and helped developers with smaller, engaged communities thrive. Over 3,000 islands now earn more from in-island transactions than engagement payouts. And we're continuing to see a growing share of total payouts coming from in-island transactions. It's been a boost for genres outside of Battle Royale and Shooter, and these games now make up over 75% of all in-island transaction revenue. We know it takes trust to build on a platform that's still maturing, and this year, stability and developer effectiveness is our #1 priority. Back in March, we stated our goal to cut iteration times, and we've been making real progress, getting the time it takes to push changes down by an average of 40% or so. That's even higher for larger projects, and we've seen reductions of up to 70%. Plus, expanded live edit support makes iteration faster and more streamlined. Live edits are now applied directly in game mode, and the new edit list gives you a clear view of the changes as you work. The consolidated UI simplifies session controls and adds the ability to pause the game, letting you explore the edit the scene with a detached camera. And then work's not done here. We're continuing to drive iteration times down and make UEFN a better tool to build with, release after release. And alongside hardening the tools, we're unlocking more gameplay capabilities. Scene Graph, which is soon to be the foundation of UE6, is maturing quickly in UEFN and giving Fortnite developers far more control and customization than ever before. It underpins new systems like custom items, inventories, and as of our latest release, an initial set of workflows creating custom weapons and animation with Scene Graph. And there's much more on the way, including gameplay attributes, gameplay abilities, and Scene Graph UI. We're introducing more and more major engine systems as first scriptable components so that you can spend more time in UEFN authoring gameplay and less time configuring it. We're also opening up new types of gameplay with targeted feature sets. Creature-based gameplay tools just shipped with games launching to players this summer. And Fortnite Sidekicks allows developers to tap into the attachment players have already built with their own companions. Developers can now build pet battlers, cozy farming sims, and more. And we're expanding where those games come to life. Fortnite is back on Google Play and the App Store worldwide, and mobile playtime for UEFN games has more than doubled in the past year. We know that optimizing for mobile hasn't been easy. We're hoping that some of the recent feature releases, like native gesture support and touchscreen layout customizations and finer control over your HUD, can help you build more mobile-friendly games. These mobile features will exit experimental mode in August, enabling experiences and genres that feel more at home on mobile. Our recent Discover changes are already showing results. We've cracked down on spam and duplicate content sorted islands into clear genres, and personalized Discover to help your games find audiences faster. And later this year, we're going to be doing a full redesign. Video everywhere, personalization across every row, and social signals, including like percentage right on the tile. In a big shift, Discover replaces the lobby as the first thing that players see when they open Fortnite. We'll be diving deeper into the Discover roadmap and the rest of UEFN ecosystem over the next few days. Our IP partner program enables any Fortnite developer to build with officially licensed content from major IP like LEGO, Star Wars, Squid Game, and more. Each partnership unlocks exclusive characters, environments, and templates that developers can use to create games they can't build anywhere else. One of the OG UEFN developers, Future Trash, has successfully brought their FOD IP to Fortnite and launched a hit game set in a galaxy far, far away. Their founder, Kevin, is here to share more about what they've been up to, so please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you, Hannah. Hi, everyone. I'm Kevin Marciano, co-founder and CEO of Future Trash, the game studio behind FOD. In 2022, my co-founders, Nate, Scott, Eric, and I, quit our jobs, and we wanted to build the next great party game. We were betting everything on an indie studio with one idea and a lot of passion. We learned fast how brutal that road is. Back-end infrastructure, discoverability, distribution, the walls were everywhere. By early 2023, we only had a few weeks of runway left. I flew to GDC with the Steam Deck in hand, trying to get anyone's attention to care about what we had built. That's when UEFN got announced, and we thought, why don't we bring our game into Fortnite? We weren't native to UGC, so it felt incredibly risky. After some experimentation with the tools and learning more about the blossoming creator economy, we could see the potential. We rolled up our sleeves and shipped our first game in under 3 weeks. We hit publish and got player feedback almost instantly. And that's when it settled in. This was going to be our path forward. And that bold pivot didn't just save our company, it changed our perspective on the future of the games industry. What UEFN gave us wasn't just a platform, it was direct access to our audience. No gatekeepers, no publisher approval. You just have an idea, you build it, and players play it. We've now reached a scale of players we genuinely never thought would be possible as a small studio. From a MOBA that didn't quite land with the Fortnite audience to our first breakout hit, Boom Tycoon, we had the opportunity to experiment with a wide range of genres and discover what felt right for our creative sensibilities on the platform. And as a studio obsessed with world building, character-driven experiences, and building original IP, UEFN became our creative sandbox and our distribution layer at the same time. Star Wars has always been a creative inspiration to everyone on our team since childhood. None of us ever dreamt that we'd be able to craft our own game using the iconic IP with essentially total creative control. The droids of Star Wars, they do the hardest work, they survive the worst odds, and they get the least amount of credit. And we thought, let's make a game about them. Droid Tycoon was our love letter to these unsung heroes of the Star Wars universe. It's hard to believe that this game could have existed anywhere else. And that's how we see the future of how legacy IP will embrace UGC native creators to foster an infinite extension of their content universe. That's where the most exciting stories are going to be told. And you all showed up to prove it. Since we launched the map, Droid Tycoon became the most played UEFN game in Fortnite by hours. It climbed to the second most played game across all Fortnite in its first weekend. And earlier this month, it set a new record for the highest number of concurrent players over a 2-hour period, which is the strongest performance ever achieved by an IP experience in Fortnite. Looking ahead, our ambitions are to continue pushing the boundaries of what's possible on the platform in terms of visual quality and storytelling. We will continue building our own original IP while also making immersive experiences for the franchises that inspire us most. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin, for sharing your story and creative process, and especially for bringing the Star Wars IP to life in Droid Tycoon in a way that has connected so deeply with fans. Droid Tycoon is a standout representative of some of the big highlights we had this year in Disney and Fortnite. Let's take a look.
To infinity and beyond!
Behold, giant food from the sky!
This partnership is anchored in one conviction. Disney stories should reach fans where they already are, and that's increasingly in games. And it extends beyond Epic and Disney. Developers, you're in this too, with the agency to build your own experiences and tell your own stories using the IP that you know and love. Early in my game dev career, my dream was to make games in the Star Wars universe. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, and it's been a great full circle moment for me personally to see developers experience the thrill of making their own Star Wars games for the first time. What's happened since we launched this IP program has exceeded everything we expected. Star Wars came to UEFN and developers ran with it. Galactic Siege, Escape Vader, Droid Tycoon, all built with tools available to everyone in this room. 8 million players in 72 hours overall. Galactic Siege had 6.5 million players, and Escape Vader had 3.4 million plays in just the first 6 days. And Droid Tycoon became the #2 most played island in Fortnite within a week. All of us at Disney want to congratulate and thank Beyond Creative and Jogo for their contributions on their exemplar island launches, along with Droid Tycoon. In The Mandalorian and Grogu Watch Party Island, fans were able to watch the first 10 minutes of the film before it ever hit theaters. This is a new model for what studio IP and the creative pipeline can look like, going beyond IP access and toward creative continuity and immersion in worlds that feel real. Star Wars, though, was just one chapter in a year where games meaningfully extended our storytelling. As Percy Jackson returned to Disney Plus for Season 2, Siege of Monsters, created by our friends at Gauntlet, offered a new way to experience that world, while our own Disneyland Game Rush translated the energy from Anaheim and Disneyland's 70th anniversary into playable form. And our Disney, Pixar, Lucasfilm, 20th Century, and Marvel outfit collabs continue to remain amongst the most popular in Fortnite. That goes beyond a traditional IP arrangement. It's iconic Disney stories in the hands of more creatives, reaching more fans than ever. And we can't forget our favorite animated family from Springfield, who had one crazy month-long season last year. This season had over 80 million unique players, with over 750 million hours played. The reach speaks for itself. We were so excited to see players come into Springfield, but we've also loved watching citizens of Springfield cross over into parts of UEFN. Let's take a look at some highlights from one of our favorite streamers.
Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Bart S reacts to an idiot playing Fortnite. Here's how Homer gets us to school every day. The fat is strong with this one. Hey, look, it's Jurassic Pork. Here's Dad having a meeting with my teacher, Mrs. Krabappel. Here we go, the titanic battle between two old men with breathing problems. Okay, dinosaurs and stormtroopers are tough for Dad, but when he's on his home turf in his Springfield Island, he'll probably just choke on his own donut cannon.
"36 years in, The Simpsons still feel like everyone's family. But today, they're finding a new home. We are so excited to announce The Simpsons is joining the IP Partner Program later this year. Springfield will be yours. Characters, locations, radioactive waste, all UEFN ready. But hey, be kind to Flanders. But based on what we've seen, Springfield's in good hands. Thank you to all the amazing developers in this community. We look forward to seeing what you create next. Now back to Epic.
From the first time we went supersonic to right here, right now, it's fitting that at the largest celebration of our game, in front of the greatest fans in the world, we celebrate that history. To all of our friends here in Paris and those watching all around the world, this is the future, and this is...
All right, at the Rocket League competitive series in Paris, we gave the world the first glimpse of Unreal Engine 6. And this is the next step in our mission, to make great games and tools and to share them with you so you can bring your ideas to life. And I'm here to talk to you about what we're building now for the future. Today, things are kind of awkward. There's actually two different ways to build stuff in Unreal. There's building Unreal Engine 5 games for standalone distribution on stores with massive AAA features. And then there's the Unreal Editor for Fortnite feature set and tool set that enables you to build a game once and then deploy it to all platforms live into Fortnite with its 80 million monthly active users. Now, each of them has some really cool, unique features, but is lacking the features of the other one. And so our big initiative to bring them together is the core of the Unreal Engine 6 effort. It's UE5 plus UEFN equals UE6 plus some more cool stuff on the way. The vision is that if you build things once the Unreal Engine 6 way, then you can have a game that you can ship everywhere, including the console stores, the PC stores, the mobile stores, and also ship live into the Fortnite ecosystem or any other Unreal Engine 6-based game ecosystem built by any other developer. Now, in prior generations, we put graphics first in leading and announcing our technology. But with the Unreal Engine 6 generation, we're focusing first and foremost on the foundations of the engine to prepare for the next generation of game development and for gaming. And the most critical change here is the move to the verse programming language for gameplay development alongside the low-level C++ engine. And the reason for this is to enable massive scale code and content interoperability across games. Today we have a lot of content interoperability features. You go to the Fab content marketplace, you download a bunch of cool objects, you stick in your game, but then you have to wire them up and make it work yourself. In the Unreal Engine 6 generation, by having a unified set of APIs and a unified language that works everywhere, you'll be able to build smart assets that are completely portable between games and between projects and can be shared at any scale, with the potential to have millions of developers collaborating together on a shared body of work that anybody can use. Another hallmark aim for the Unreal Engine 6 generation is to enable far larger game simulations. The original Battle Royale movie in 1999 that inspired the Battle Royale genre of games, fortunately, just happened to have 100 people dropping onto an island. It's a nice coincidence because that's actually the maximum number of players our code base could support running on a single thread on a server. If they had 1,000 players, we wouldn't have been able to do it. The goal of Unreal Engine 6 is to introduce software and transactional memory technology, which Curtis Schmidt will talk more about later, in order to enable scaling of games to any amount of computers that can fit into a data center. Hundreds, thousands, potentially even millions in the future. And this is technology that's in the research lab, and the team is working very rapidly to make into a practical shipping system. Another major aim of Unreal Engine 6 is something I first talked about at the SIGGRAPH computer graphics show back in 2016. There I talked about a potential future of gaming as an open system like the web is open, in which any developer can run a server, build a game, host their own content, and the user can go anywhere they want from place to place, bringing all of their stuff with them, and tearing down the walls and barriers that exist between games to have a completely interoperable ecosystem. And the Rocket League preview of Unreal Engine 6, if you looked at the very last frame of it, there was a little URL bar on top. The URL was verse://rocketleague.com. And we're tantalizingly close now to fully realizing this idea of an open gaming ecosystem with the ability to travel from game to game and independent developer freedom to build everything they want everywhere they go. And our aim at Epic is to work with all developers in the industry to build this system together as peers. We want a system with no overlord. We've been spending some time fighting against overlords in the industry with some amount of success. And we don't want to be the next one. Rather, we want to be a partner to every company in the industry, including all game developers and also other makers of technology and services, in order to build the best stuff and connect it all up together. And so a huge part of this effort is going to be Epic adopting open standards like the Pixar USD file format and GLTF, and also working with standards bodies and releasing specifications to bring new standards into the industry where they're lacking and needed. I'll be talking more about that later, but right now I'd like to introduce Marcus Wasmer to talk about the architecture of Unreal Engine 6. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Tim. So let's just take a second to look at the recent history of Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine 4 opened the engine to everyone by making the tools free to use and the source accessible on GitHub. And UE5 reinvented how worlds are built, helping you go bigger, add density and dynamic detail, and do it faster than ever before. UE6 has a different proposition. It's about evolving how we ship and operate our games. That said, UE6 will keep doing the things you want an Unreal Engine to do. Rendering will keep getting better, cook times will come down, iteration loops are getting tighter, mobile is increasingly capable. However, we believe for UE6 that there are three things about game development that need to change at the same time. First, gameplay programming needs to get simpler for creating persistent, live, large-scale worlds. And Verse is the foundation for Epic's future programming model. It's a next-generation language purpose-built to power massive, persistent game worlds at scale, where global state just works and transactionally correct concurrency is handled by the runtime. We've built a modern high-level gameplay framework on top of Verse that gives you a true foundation to build games and experiences easily and to share their interoperable components between games. You'll hear more about our goals and architecture for this programming model from our technical director on the project in a few minutes. But for now, let's talk about the second guiding principle of UE6. Content and code should be portable across games and even engines. Our goal is to give the games industry a whole new way to grow our ecosystems with cross-promotion, portable player value, and to really lean into all the positive sum dynamics that Metcalfe's law predicts for connecting experiences and social graphs together. And we're going to do this with a determined effort to move UE beyond just extensibility and into open specifications for interoperability. Where existing standards such as GLTF or USD are capable of fulfilling our needs, we'll make them first-class formats within the engine. And where a standard doesn't yet exist that serves the needs of game ecosystems, we'll open up Unreal's own systems as open specifications with verse APIs, defined asset conditions, and documentation that any engine, tool, or studio can implement against. And Fortnite Cosmetics will be our first real proof point of portability. We're going to start by moving the base system to an open UE6 module that's usable by all games. And this means that you'll have the option to use a player's entitled Fortnite outfits in your own games, and you'll get the tools to build outfits for your own games that work inside Fortnite. And we're tackling this problem first because we want to prove things out with a system that's complex enough to be a meaningful existence proof of the idea, and one that inherently comes with a ton of player value by respecting their purchases across an interconnected ecosystem of games. We see this as the first step towards building a shared economy for smart assets, functional assets with logic and functionality that work across games to recognize players' time and spending in a better way. In the end, this isn't really a Fortnite story. It's just about proving that such a mature, complex system can work at scale, and that every game that works with these systems will immediately benefit from them. Happily, we're taking the first concrete steps to such an open e-system right now. MetaHuman has been adopted by some of the most successful games in the world and is rapidly becoming a standard for digital characters. And that's why today we're announcing the MetaHuman Dev Kit, opening up our rig logic and MetaHuman DNA toolsets under the MIT license so that you can deliver metahumans in any game, any engine, any platform. To learn more, thank you. Yeah, so to learn more, please come to our talk right after this. All right, moving on, no tech presentation would obviously be complete without a conversation about AI. So to get one of the fun talking points out of the way, there's some speculation going around that game engines will be superseded by promptable world models. And we don't actually think that's what happened next. What does, we think, is much more interesting. That AI-assisted game creation will tighten iteration loops, reduce time-consuming manual setup of levels, character rigs, particle systems, getting bone weights, adjusting lighting, all of the manual work required to translate professional, creative intent into performant and cross-platform games. And crucially, Unreal Engine is uniquely placed to be the efficient, cross-platform, high-fidelity runtime that will remain the substrate on which much of the world's best games run. Thus, for UE6, we see LLMs, Gen AI models, and tools like Claude, Gemini, and so on as playing a central role in building content faster with the creative control that you need. And as you saw earlier, the future of these workflows is a fluent translation layer between natural language intent and your production pipeline. Our goal for UE6 is to greatly reduce the tedious work in authoring content to leave more time for creative exploration and increase the amount of iterations a team can make to polish their content. UE6 will ship with these workflows battle-tested against internal development and in UEFN. And while we've mostly been showing and talking about content creation, coding and engineering are important as well. Internally at Epic, we've been doing a lot of investigation to see what works and what doesn't. And we recently opened up pretty broad usage for code generation and AI analysis across our back-end, engine, and game development engineering teams. We've had a lot of great success stories. We've had particular success with people writing custom tools for their own work, fast code indexing tools for helping LLMs deal with large code bases like UE, fast incident response analysis, automated root cause analysis for crashes, automated test generation, and of course the wins you'd expect on back-end service development. But what's interesting is that most of those cases aren't even generating mainline Unreal Engine code yet, though that'll come. So you can expect Unreal Engine 6 to include all the key learnings for using AI for engineering along with content workflows. Okay, so we know you obviously have lots of questions about the transition from UE5 to UE6, so let's talk about that for a second. UE6 converges two threads of development we've been running in parallel. UE5 for high-end standalone game and content development, and Unreal Editor for Fortnite as the live environment where our new programming model is getting battle tested. UE6 will combine these two products into one. As UE5 and UEFN merge into one editor, you will be able to ship traditional games and projects exactly as you do today. You'll be able to ship directly in Fortnite, or ship your own ecosystem and optionally make it compatible with ours. You'll have an easy path from one to the other. Actors and blueprints will be in early versions of UE6. Eventually, these will be deprecated when the new framework is sufficiently mature, and you'll have conversion tools to move projects from one framework to the other. Also, a new UE6 mainstream will be on GitHub later today, publicly visible, just like the UE5 stream has always been. Any remaining UE5 changes will merge to UE6 to not get lost, but not vice versa. And in addition, Fortnite development will be attached to the UE6 stream, so you can see all of our ongoing work live and cherry pick any changes as needed. However, this stream is not meant to be any kind of alpha. It exists just to be transparent with where we're going. And while we're not currently planning another official UE5 release after 5.8, we do reserve the right to ship a 5.9 if needed. You never know. So when can you get your hands on UE6? We plan to release in early access at the end of 2027-ish. We know how game dev works around here. However, Epic will be shipping things on the tech stack ahead of the early access release, just to make sure we get it right. 6.0 will be released 12 to 18 months following the early access release, and we expect just about everyone should be able to move their projects to 6.0, as it will still have all of the mainline UE5 tech, except for Cascade, where we're killing that one. That one's not going to make it. So get on the Niagara train. That said, we will be taking the opportunity to make some big architectural and other breaking changes that we wouldn't normally do in a point release, so you can expect a similar upgrade path from UE5 to 6 as we had for 4 to 5. We'll keep everyone up to date on our progress as development continues, and now Curtis is going to come up and give us a more detailed breakdown of the gameplay architecture. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcus, and good morning, everyone. I'm Curtis. I work on the gameplay architecture in Unreal Engine, and today I'm excited to talk to you about the new gameplay framework for UE6, which begins with Verse. Now, Verse is a next-generation programming language, purpose-built to power massive, persistent game worlds at scale. We originally released it 3 years ago in UEFN, where we could grow it to become the foundation for UE6. And Verse draws ideas from functional, logic, and imperative languages, and it should feel immediately familiar to anyone who's worked in languages like C# or Python before. But it also has some unique features aimed at solving the complexity and scaling problems of modern game development, starting with this unique software transactional memory model, or STM. Now, all functions in Verse run as part of atomic transactions, which can be rolled back and re-simulated as needed. And this lets us do a lot of interesting things in our game's code. So for example, to check if an object can be successfully moved in the world, we can simply set its position, then do our spatial queries to see if it's hitting anything. If it is, we abandon the entire transaction, reverting the entire operation, and pretending the code never ran at all. Now, Verse's transactional memory model can also help us address another big problem in game development, building enormous worlds with larger player counts. And today, one of the big limiters to really building larger games comes down to server technology. Scaling a game to run on multiple game servers requires a fundamental rethinking of your entire game's architecture. Well, with UE6, we're working to build a full distributed software transactional memory system to address this. So here's the idea. We take your existing single-threaded style Verse game code, and then we distribute it across multiple servers. When an object's needed in one server, the Verse runtime rolls back the current transaction, migrates the object over to the server, and then reruns the transaction with the object now present. And this is all done in a way that retains the transactional consistency of the original program. And finally, with Verse, we wanted to make saving game data way simpler. So the Verse runtime can automatically synchronize and save any global state for the program, and then share it across all running instances of your game or an ecosystem. And to the programmer, what this means is that setting up something like save state for a player is as simple as setting a single global map of player to save state. No more having to set up databases or coordinate schemas between your game and other backend services. You can do all of this without ever leaving Verse. Now let's take a look at how Verse fits into the bigger UE6 gameplay architecture. So at the foundational level, we have the Verse runtime, along with all the UE systems that exist today, like rendering, chaos physics, meta sounds. With Verse, we're also introducing the Verse Scene Graph framework. Now, this is a modern game component framework with full support for prefab-style workflows and runtime composition. The Scene Graph has been designed to utilize all the power of the Verse language, including modeling the entire prefab data model through Verse's type system. Above this, every core system in the engine is exposed as concrete Verse objects. Each material, mesh, Niagara system that you author becomes a type of Verse class with a statically validatable API. This lets us use the Verse compiler to validate all of our data in a unified manner across the entire engine. For example, if you change a parameter in a particle system, you'll immediately know where in code needs to be updated to match. And finally, we'll be introducing high-level frameworks for common game systems like characters, weapons, and vehicles. Now, building with these frameworks helps speed up development, but it also creates content that can be shared widely across games and ecosystems. So imagine grabbing a car from Fab, and instead of simply getting a skeletal mesh and some animations like you might today, you get a fully working Verse module for a car that functions across all of your games. With the UE6 gameplay framework, we're envisioning a world where enormous amounts of code and content is being built and shared between these projects, with Verse providing strong backwards compatibility guarantees to help the ecosystem grow sustainably. Of course, we'll need a place to store all of this code and data, and here to talk about that is Matthias.
Thank you, Curtis. I'm Matthias Jansson. I work on developer tools, and I'm here to talk about our version control system, Lore. As we continue to scale our platforms and services, we run into many challenges when it comes to data storage and version control. We need something that can handle large binary data sets, scale easily across the globe, and provide secure data isolation in a shared multi-tenant environment. We also need to make it easy to use for everyone, not just programmers. We looked at the available tools and came to the conclusion that none had everything we needed. Git, for example, it's excellent at what it was built for, distributed development of source code. But game development has huge amounts of binary data and content and rarely needs everything on your local machine. Git doesn't really work well under such requirements. Other commercial and proprietary systems were also considered. But our foundational tools have to be open. Open specifications, open protocols, open formats. Anything less, and the people relying on them can't extend, audit, or trust them. So we decided to build Lore from scratch, and we designed the data model to meet our requirements from the ground up. We made scalability and performance core tenets from day one, and this is where most of Lore's technical innovation lives. It combines an efficient large asset handling with a free branching model, so teams can iterate quickly without sacrificing workflow flexibility or storage efficiency. And Lore will grow with you, from a zero-config, single service setup for small teams, all the way to multi-region, multi-million user deployments like UEFN, without requiring your team to fundamentally change how you work. At the heart of Lore is an efficient, content-addressed data store. Every file, every directory, every revision is identified by what it contains, not where it lives. Identical pieces of data are only stored once. Lore gives you direct access to that storage platform, so you can build your own applications and pipelines on top of it. Lore's version control uses this storage platform to let you work on multiple things in parallel, switch between them freely, and collaborate in safe, isolated spaces without worrying about how it scales. Lore's sparse, binary-first storage architecture fetches only the data you actually need for the revisions and branches you work with, supporting projects of any size. Large binary data is stored in smaller fragments, allowing partial deduplication and highly efficient parallelized data transfer of any file. That same data model is what lets lore scale out across the infrastructure. As you grow, lore lets you transparently add layers of additional servers from the local machine out through edge and regional caches and up to a durable global store. And because access is authenticated and authorized at every layer, that scale never comes at the cost of control. Every server enforces the same access policies. For a globally distributed team, that means that users in different regions can hit their nearest cache, and the global source of truth is never the bottleneck. Everything lore does, data storage, version control, is exposed through a single complete API. And on top of that API, we built the tools you would expect. A command line interface, a desktop application, and in the near future, an integration in Unreal Editor. And these tools are all built on the same API and library. This API-first design makes lore easy to extend and integrate into any development pipeline. Your tools and applications can easily use lore through the API in the language you want to use. Though we're just scratching the surface here, I hope this gives you a sense of the power and potential of lore. And it's already used in production environments. It powers the UEFN ecosystem, where it's been known until now as Unreal Revision Control, providing version control and data storage for everyone's content pipeline. We have already started transitioning to use lore as the primary version control system for development within Epic, and we plan to be fully using lore by the UE6 launch. We built lore to address scalability and efficiency challenges we have at Epic, and as we talked with many of you, we heard similar challenges echoed across the industry. And that led to a bigger realization. If we're trying to foster a truly open ecosystem, one we all build together, then a system shaped behind closed doors would fall short. And that's why we're announcing lore as open source today. All the source code. Thank you. All the source code, along with documentation of data formats and protocols, are now permissively licensed under an MIT license and free to use. This release shouldn't be viewed as a perfect or complete package, but as an invitation to you to extend it, challenge it, and help shape it into something even more powerful together. So, if you're interested in learning more, head to lore.org and come to my session later in the show for a deep dive discussion on lore's architecture. And with that, I will hand it back to Tim.
Awesome. So that is the first two of our next generation permissively licensed open source releases, and the first of many to come as we go about building more and more standards for interoperability for the future of gaming. And now I'd like to go and talk about the game business, which is in a time of both crisis and also opportunity. On the upside, there's a new generation of gamers coming in with new tastes in games, and they're playing games at a higher rate than any previous generation before. And the biggest games, like Fortnite, are once again growing and thriving. But underneath this, there's a serious challenge to AAA developers, and that's that a huge number of the new releases of major games are failing now. We're seeing often hundreds of millions of dollars of dev costs followed by tens of millions of dollars of revenue, and the dev costs are continuing to grow. It feels to many like a tidal wave is sweeping over the AAA game business. I'd like to back up. Everybody has their theory for why this is happening, but I'd like to back up and identify kind of the key generational changes and trends that are behind this. And because if we want to come up with an honest solution, we have to accurately identify the problem. And one of the key trends is that gaming is increasingly becoming socially driven. In the old days, it was you decide to play a game, you download it, you may play it by yourself, or maybe play multiplayer with whatever strangers show up. Nowadays, it's much more about you getting together with your friends and then deciding what to do together online to play a game or experience. And this social increasing angle of gaming is creating a massive advantage for big games and big ecosystems because a game with a lot of players is much more likely to contain a lot of your friends. And a long-established game with a huge player base has a much easier job of retaining players than a new game has of attracting new players. Thus, we've seen a lot of the major new multiplayer games not gain a sufficient community and momentum to survive, though in the past they might have. The other big change that's affecting gaming is that the economy is shifting from buying games to buying things in games. And whether you're a fan of this or not, the arithmetic of it is undeniable. And this is another thing that reinforces the success of very large existing ecosystems in games and makes it ever harder for new entrants to get in. And that is if you've been playing a game for a long time and it has a huge player base, then you can buy with confidence knowing that the things you purchase will still be useful to you days, weeks, or years later. Whereas when a new game comes out, it's a much more difficult decision to spend. You're not sure if you're going to play it next day, next week, next month, and are much less likely to spend. And the final trend that's affecting gaming is that the market for players' attention has become extraordinarily competitive, more so than I've ever seen before in my lifetime when we were competing with lame television and other things. Nowadays, there's all kinds of social media platforms, as well as things like prediction markets that trend almost into vice, all competing for people's times, all very effectively. And so to overcome these trends, the game industry, whether we like it or not, is reorganizing itself. And there are kind of two big predictions for the future as these problems reverberate throughout the industry. One view of the future is that Roblox grows and eats gaming. A lot of people are saying this online. But what you have there is a centralized platform with a single gatekeeper that commoditizes all content, takes more than 70% of revenue, and has 450 million users on board. And so that's a real challenge to game developers. But we believe in a very different future, and a much brighter one for the people in this room, and that is that a future of high-quality gaming rising to the challenge and linking up our content, linking up our communities, and linking up our economies to deliver fun and to serve gamers with great games in a way we've never done before. And to accomplish that, we're going to all need to change the way we build things. We're going to need to build better games, we're going to need to build them more efficiently, and we're going to need to design up front and build for connected games, where all of our player bases are connected socially and our economies are connected so that players, instead of seeing these as isolated products, see them as part of a global ecosystem that all game developers participate in together. We want to work with all of you and with all of the game developers in the industry to achieve this together. The things we built with Unreal Engine 6 are our technological foundation for it. And we believe that this is a big challenge that we all have to rise to. We need to win the competition for players' time, not only against other games, but also against YouTube and TikTok and everything else that people are doing online. And this was very much on our minds when we set out about building Unreal Engine 6. And it's also what was on the minds of really close partners like Disney and Lego and other AAA game developers when we've been building increasingly close partnerships to them to build this together. It's very clear, Fortnite, 80 million monthly active users. That's quite a lot, but we realize that this is not enough for Epic to do it alone. To build the ecosystem of the future, we're going to have to build it together. And I think the thesis for that is very optimistic, that between all of us and the world's best games, many of which use Unreal Engine, and many of whose developers use Unreal Engine, and many projects, we have billions of active users. And so we have the opportunity to form up and to team open and to define the future of gaming together again. And that's exactly what we want to accomplish in this generation together with you. So that's what we're doing. Thank you very much for coming here to Unreal Fest. And remember, where else in the world can Fortnite creators get together with AAA game developers and filmmakers and architects and car designers and people at Lockheed Martin who are designing things they're not even allowed to talk about here, and actually speak the same language, the language of Unreal and content and code and development. So I hope you have a great time and have a great opportunity to meet up with lots of people. Thank you very much.
Let's see if we are. Let's see.
We are live.
Are we?
I'm looking at myself right now.
Oh,
looking
can you
good.
see it?
I can see.
I don't.
I
see
can
it.
see we are live,
Oh
baby.
yes,
Hello.
we are live.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
What is up, beautiful people, beautiful souls
Guys?
who are now here after watching the State of Unreal. Guys, what? Guys, what? What do you have to
No,
say
I
after
want
all
to say
this
after all
beautiful
this update,
things?
what did they like the most? There were so many things discussed. So now we are here to go through some of them and let's find out how do we feel
I have
about
my
every
notes.
single thing. Oh, you note down.
I have all of my notes. Yeah, unlike you, I'm a good
I
student.
have a great memory, so I remember everything.
Okay, name 7 updates right now.
Why 7?
Because I know you can name 2.
Unreal Engine 6.
I said updates. Okay, sure. Unreal Engine 6. Sure.
The version control, Laura.
Okay, and
Good.
How's the-
Verse.
What verse? What? Of course, of course.
There was an update for Verse.
Sir,
Metalites.
write your goddamn
Megalites.
notes.
Metalites.
It's just metahumans and lights.
Megalites,
Yes,
that's 2
metalites.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. All
Let
right.
me see. Guys, let me see from comments where you guys are from. Where are you guys watching? We are live from Dubai.
Yes,
Just
where are you guys
watch-
watching us from? We've got Sharon. We got USA Farm Life. USA
Life.
Farm Life. John Doe, welcome to the chat. Everybody, drop in a country
Bro, you know
flag.
John Doe is a fake name, right? John
fine.
Doe is the template name.
The default name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I
Say
have
hello
to
to John
refer.
Doe.
I have to refer to you somehow.
Maybe he's actually John Doe.
If he is
Imagine-
actually John
Are you
Doe-
actually John Doe?
I know John Doe is a default name though.
Yeah.
Maybe you were born as a default person.
What does that mean?
The default. There's like a default human setting that God would click, and then everybody else that comes after. Maybe John Doe is like the default.
I got you. Great joke. Great joke.
Thank you.
Should
All right.
we start
No.
with
but-
MCP?
No. Can you read? You asked
South
everybody a
Africa,
question.
Germany, Texas. Let me see. Germany. Oh, we have 2 from Germany.
Germany, South Africa,
Japan.
Dallas.
No, that's Catalyst. You put Japan. You're not
Oh, what the
Japan. You're Dubai.
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, France. Okay,
France.
great. Mostly from Europe. It makes sense because of the time zone. In East Asia, I would say everybody would be asleep by now because 8 p.m. now in Dubai. So it would be, yeah, all the way 10, 11 p.m.
Spain,
Canada,
Canada, all right,
US.
Canada, what up? And US. Okay, we got people from everywhere.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the State of Unreal with us. We literally were outside right before the live stream grabbing food because we had nothing to eat today. And so we were running back to the studio to make sure we can set everything up and do the live stream with you guys. Lots of exciting updates. I was so curious about what they're going to say about Unreal Engine 6, although we did not get to really see anything. We
I
did
think
hear
it's
a
mostly
lot.
actually back end, by the way. I think most of the change, of course, there will be UI upgrades, but most of the changes are backend, combining UEFN with Unreal, upgrading Verse. So first of all, the date that we got is 2027-ish.
2027
for the early testers.
Yeah, which would be
1 year, 12 to 18 months for the actual, release. So that will put us 2028, 2029.
So we'll be
guys,
with
keep your
5.8.
project, keep your project on Unreal 5. You're still, like any client that comes to you, still Unreal 5, at least for another year.
All right, we've got hello from Kerala. Hello to
Philippines, India.
Is that Russia?
The flag? No, bro, it's not Russia. I can see Privyet. It doesn't say Privyet.
No, the letters.
Yeah, the letters are definitely
but
Russian.
It could be
Bulgaria, I think.
What, Bulgaria?
Yeah.
Yeah, my flag game isn't that strong, as you can see. But let's begin talking about the updates. I've written it all down. I'm going to go from the beginning, and then I want to know all of your opinions about what you guys think.
Oh, so you're going to go through every single one of them?
No,
or you're going to tell me which
no,
one
of
is your
course not.
favorite?
No, not every single one. Do you think this is the
I
only
have one
updates they had?
favorite. I have one
Okay, let's talk about your favorite first. I know you want to talk about your favorite. MCP.
It's crazy that finally we get MCP inside Unreal, and then you can use any of the models that we like. The demo was great. Actually, we have to talk about the demo itself. But what you said when we were watching the demo, Farah said, this is exactly the difference between Unreal and other generation models, that Unreal already has the 3D engine. They are just building the control layer on top of it.
Right.
So for them, it's much easier, whether other platforms such as Higgsfield and all, they have to build what Unreal has built to give you control. The part that he was moving the chair, the part that he was changing the time of the day, the part that he was taking the apartment under the water. So you had generation and then full control. I was assuming, because we've been playing around a lot with AI nowadays, you wanted to make those generation with AI. First of all, it would be super boring to do it. Second, it would be impossible to get that consistency. But now...
And you have zero control.
Zero control. But now you have the same model. It was, thank you, Pratt, for showing. Nana Banana Pro, the same one that we are using in Higgsfield or other platforms. Cloud Code, GPT image, everything exists.
And to add to what you're saying, this what you're seeing here, right here on the screen, right? To be able to draw out that entire city procedurally and then have all of your assets stored in the asset browser, then the model gets to pick out from your assets and set up a city for you. Let's not pretend for a moment that any of us, unless you were an extremely experienced technical artist, that could do this. Anybody. I'm talking about the majority of people watching and listening right now, including myself. I'm not a technical artist, which means if I wanted to make a city like that, it would be either manually doing it, or I had to go ahead and buy a plugin that hopefully would have worked for my project, like a city builder of some sort, or go to Blender and get a city builder plugin and then come and make it work here. But right now I can do it all myself, and with all of the flexibility and controls and sliders that I want. And I know that's possible because, as Farhad mentioned, over the past few months, we've been delving heavily into AI tools and AI tooling, just like the Epic Games team has. And what's amazing is that our idea of how AI would work in the future is exactly what they mentioned. They said people think that it's all going to end with what we have, which is let's just keep creating content with AI. We create content, but it's like creating pixels and still images or even videos is not the end. This is not the only thing that we need. We still need to create interactive experiences. We still need to create
games.
Control. We need to have control. And so having the AI tools come and help us have that level of control inside an engine that has spatial understanding. Spatial understanding is the emphasis here, is gonna allow anybody who can use Unreal to create anything they want.
And I think the part that is super important are skills, because what I forgot who was presenting this section, but he was saying that the LLM models don't have enough spatial understanding. Their understanding is mostly in 2D space, not actually in 3D space. So they have manually built all these skills specifically for Unreal, which you can use.
Yes. So they said skills, library examples, and procedural content generation. They're gonna supply you with all these three.
Which is actually super important, right? I'm thinking how much faster you could make our samurai short film now. took us 2 or 3 months.
I would say at least
Would it change the castle and the environment and the trees?
Castle was made by Pratt.
Pratt, would it change? Like the way
If you had
built
the
castle,
MCP when you built the
MCP?
castle?
Yeah, I will
Because
say
you had a
yes.
great reference, right?
For example, the roof, it's just the same object duplicated 1,000 times. The tiles is the exact same thing. So if I have the MCP, I can just be like, oh, I need like 1,000 tiles, make a 45-degree angle, and we should be good to go. Or it should be able to understand. So like setting up the whole setup for cloners and everything, it's gonna be super duper easy.
For me, I agree with both of you. How I see it is this. Why are we using Unreal? Why are you using Unreal? Because the guys at Epic Games built the back end, all of the tooling, very complicated set of tooling with sliders and controls and dials and knobs and tabs and bars to help you achieve what you want to achieve. And then when you work on your project, you try to figure out how to use their tooling to help you. Now, for the most part, their tooling is enough. But why do developers who are also artists love to make their own plugins? Because they take what Unreal has, which is the rendering and everything that they cannot make, but then they add all of their own little software and tools on top to help them build. And then the good developers, the ones who are businessmen as
like
well,
big studios, right?
Not just studios. No, I'm talking about any developer who builds these plugins, who's also a businessman, would come and then sell their plugin and market it and publicize it and make it available to the world. There are certain plugins. Let's talk about, okay, I don't know what happens, for instance, to Ultra Dynamic Sky right now.
Oh, because the guy
Up
was
until,
making
okay,
Sky,
so
yeah.
what is Ultra Dynamic Sky?
No, a set of parameters set predefined
But
for you.
studied extensively, in great detail, set up so that you can make skies easily. And let's be honest, up until now, making skies to that level of detail is so hard. It's time consuming.
He gave an example of the sky.
That's my point. So so think about it this way. The reason why Ultra Dynamic Sky is perhaps one of the highest sold plugins in Unreal is because that specific thing, making a sky, it's time consuming, should have been done by Epic Games, in my opinion. By the way, Blender and all don't even have it. But Epic Games made the sky and everything available. They just didn't make the parameters for you exposed in a simple way. That developer or that group of developers did. We promoted Ultra Dynamic Sky without ever getting paid in every project of ours because it works very well. And so now what Epic Games is showing, it's not that they're trying to kill those developers' job.
No, that's a progress. That's a progress.
It's just that
of
they're
the
like,
software.
before, either we had to make it or a group of developers had to make it. Now you can make it.
Anybody can make it.
Anybody can make it. And this
but,
is just an
but
example.
the big question is now that anybody can make it, will they go and make something great? Now with all these tools, okay, we watched the best demo, Gears of War, hands down. Did we get to know what volume was that? Was it like 4 or 5? The Gears of War.
E-Day.
E-Day, oh.
Gears of War.
Looked amazing.
It's just orgasm.
Yes.
What about E-Day was
the graphics.
Oh no, because I thought the name itself.
No,
You said was it Gears of 4 or 5? E-Day. E-Day.
No. Yes, look at the graphics. No, but for anybody, for some context, the first console that we bought after our PS2 was an Xbox.
Yeah.
That broke
Xbox
down
360 with the ring. We always got the ring.
Because we were in Iran at that time, it got broken down, I think, at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So we would play 2
The Ring
games
of
and
Death.
the Ring of Death. 3 lights, 3 red lights. One of the games that we only managed to finish on that console was Gears of War 2.
Yeah.
And we played it co-op.
Co-op, so split screen and on a tiny TV.
But
the
it was
TV
such a
we're
good time.
looking at right now,
Yes.
just to look at our screen, is at least 4 times bigger than that
yes.
TV.
But we did it.
How did we do it?
No, you would do it. For that time, that TV was big. But I cannot wait to play this game. Co-op.
I can't either. Let's quickly go back to MCPs. Just a quick context for anybody who does not understand how they work. Essentially, they're a bridge between Unreal Engine and any AI LLM model that you want to go at and give access to come in and understand the context of your projects. And then what Epic Games has done is, as Farhan mentioned, they have added their own library example, skills. Skills are, think of them as recipes for Claude
or other LLMs. These recipes have been built because they've been battle tested by the Epic Games internal team whilst working on projects. So it comes with a predefined set of ideas and notions and do's and don'ts that you can just directly take and give it to any LLM, whether you're using Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT, or even a local LLM that is free, and they will understand how to work with Unreal Engine. And what I found to be even more exciting is I want to connect this to the talk at the back. I have a lot of exciting updates. I haven't yet talked about my most exciting update, and I wanna hear yours in a moment. But they said when they were talking about their opinion about AI and how we should always talk about AI, now that it's a developer conference, everyone has to talk about AI. So here's what we say. They said that they're going to be battle testing not just content generation tools, so not just for visuals, but also for code. And whatever they find, they're going to release and share it with us, which I found to be fucking amazing. So by the time we get to Unreal 6 within that duration, and with Unreal 6, whatever AI tools that they're going to use in their projects, they're going to share it with us, or at least all of the examples and
I think
samples.
what we saw, definitely one thing they used Nana Banana for image generation. I think they used Claude Code was their probably go-to.
Yeah, Claude Code, Nana Banana, and C-Dance for video. They were using C-Dance for
video. And Flux for local
diffusion
image, diffusion model. So these three were showcased. So Faraz, what was your
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna read one person's first, and then I'll do mine, and then Pratt, you do yours, and then we're gonna read another one of yours. So did you guys mention which one of you guys? One of my first tests is to test.
No, but we haven't asked people what is their favorite.
No. Okay, so we did, and I see it, and I'm gonna read it. But let us know what was your most favorite update. CZ Farhad says markerless motion tracking inside.
Oh yes, Meshcapade acquisition, right?
Yeah. That's my favorite. Like,
okay. Tell us about it, Pratt.
Bro, animating metahumans, we have gone through so much. Testing out different things, baking the animations, cleaning them up, days and days and days and days of work. Now, if they're bringing Meshcapade inside Unreal Engine, all you need is one clean video of you doing any animation. You can be picking up something, you can be dancing, backflip, front flip, upload the video inside Meshcapade, and you get your animation ready right out of the box.
By the way, you don't need a video of yourself. So imagine for our samurai fight, we did a choreography, but our choreography was from a movie. You could pretty much just give the movie to get the animation.
I mean, a better idea. Say you're working on a game.
Sure.
Okay. And you need the animation.
Yes.
Go ahead to C-Dance, generate the motion exactly the way you want. No. Generate the sword fight that you want.
Yes.
Even if you get it from a movie, it's still gonna have artifacts that may not pick out the motion capture perfectly and accurately because there's camera shots that change.
Camera change.
Yeah, the camera changes, the camera has motion, and on top of that, you may just have foreground objects or background objects. It might be a rainy scene, and it may not be exactly the kind of fight that you want. But if you can, for instance, I've seen this workflow online, it's pretty cool.
But see, like for example, a sword fight.
Yeah.
Can they do a good job as
C-Dance,
what I did? Like, do you remember my
you?
choreography?
Pratt.
Bro, do you guys remember who is here is from the Ultimate Unreal Engine program? If you remember Haruki's fight, I was the one fighting, and I don't think any AI can generate what I did. My motion was
actually, it's pretty difficult to do it the way you did it. I agree. You know, one of the other things that I really like is when I'm looking at how Meshcapade, or at least the motion capture that is going to be native inside Unreal Engine now, is that, Pratt, if you can go back, please. Fingers of metahumans has always looked retarded to me. But now that they have their own tools inside Unreal Engine, I know for a fact that they've figured out how to clean that up so that even if you're using a single angle footage, you will get proper finger tracking, hopefully based on what we're seeing here. And there's no weird shrugs in the shoulders and all those things that made metahumans look fake before. So hopefully it will look a lot better. That's my assumption. And I'm hoping as well, over time, with the help of machine learning, they can upgrade the system to make it even more accurate. Because based on what we're seeing, like NVIDIA's open papers about motion capture tracking and all that, I know the
always
technology
say,
is
yeah.
getting to a point
Bro,
where we
but
should
every
have
time we want to do it, it's always
Yeah,
hard,
every-
and we have to do cleanup.
Yeah, I
I
know.
remember last time I rented 6 GoPros
I know.
and still didn't work out.
I know.
But anyhow,
I know.
I'll read one more from our audience, and then
No one
Faraz,
cares
your
about
turn.
mine.
No, yours is last. We kept the best for the last.
Thank you.
Okay. The favorite part for me, that's from USA Farm Life 4732, was where they build the landscape with Claude Code and the impressive lumens with the performance in UE. Yeah, the Claude Code building the landscape. I think it's the highway and the city and the trees around it, the one that you talked about.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, of course. We were just
Yes,
discussing
this
how
one.
making this manually would have taken ages.
Yeah.
And to be able to procedurally create this and have control over it. The fact that you can also go ahead and take all of those graphs and nodes that are a pain for most artists to use and just turn them into sliders and knobs. You can do that. So that is something I find interesting. And then what is cool is you can keep yourself in the bits of the workflow that you love. So for instance, say you love designing the assets, you want to spend time on the entire look of the city, keep tuning it to the way that you want. Even if you say, I don't like the way the sky looks, and even when I talk to Claude, the sky doesn't still look the way I want it to, you can still fine-tune it the way you want to fine-tune it, because you are in a 3D engine. You have full control. You can build all of the custom tooling that you want.
Faraz,
my favorite
time for
update
yours.
is perhaps the least expected. They now have physical...
Okay.
That was it. That was the update.
That was the.
They now
Faraz,
have
I think we need an update for your operating system.
I need Faraz 5.8 update. No, they now added physically accurate defocusing. And this has been the biggest pain. Every time I render the shot inside Unreal Engine, I remember that extra highlight or blurry lines that you get around objects that are blurred in the background.
Yes.
They're now going to be physically accurate. So the only way you could get that was using path tracing, but then switching to path tracing, half of your materials would break and your scenes would just take ages longer to render. I just wanted it to work with Lumen. We had that problem in Star Wars. We had that problem inside the Samurai.
Right?
No, we had to. I had to change the aperture of the camera so that it's not going to be super shallow, just so that we don't see weird effects in our blur.
Yeah, I
we had the
remember.
same problem in our Egyptian documentary. Always.
Now,
it's just
from
when you
now
had
on, we are
when
not
you had an
gonna have
object close to the camera, and then you would blur this, and you're looking. Say I was looking at the camera, right? And then suddenly I would bring this paper up, and then I would blur this. Are you Pratt is trying to give you guys a blur in real time? Yeah, give it a blur. Okay, actually yeah, okay. So you see how this right now, this looks real because
Yes.
I mean this is physically accurate. Inside Unreal Engine, there would be an extra layer over this that would look really fake, and there was no way to fix that. It would be an extra ghosting layer on top. They were trying to calculate what the blurring should look like. Pratt, thank you so much for demonstrating. Can we have a
real
can we
time?
have a round of
Real
applause
time.
or an emoji that you can send to Pratt right now for giving you guys a real demonstration? Because of the fact that they're now calculating the camera's angle from different points to then accurately represent how the blurring should look, gives you that in Lumen. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Now for even though right now I'm busy working on a project, I just want to go inside Unreal and just get some blurs on. Just go and fucking play with the
Is
camera.
5.8
Even with translucent objects, by the way.
Is it official or is it still preview?
No, 5.8 is going to be official now.
Oh, after today.
Right now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I just want to say thank you, Epic Games, for finally fixing the... You know why? This is not the biggest update. But when you're working on so many different projects and every single
Especially
time you're
cinematics.
rendering something, you have a problem with the blurring effect. And then you keep looking online for console commands that hopefully
Never
could fix it. You're going to consider this the most
Actually,
important
I
update.
want to ask, because now we have more than 100 people watching. How many of you guys have taken the Star Wars series, learned Unreal through the Star Wars series? How many of you guys learned it through the Samurai series?
Did you say Star Wars series?
Series.
Did you say serious? That's serious.
You
didn't say
just want to
serious.
take revenge. What was it? Physics. So yeah, Star Wars or Samurai. And speaking of Star Wars, Faraz, you want to show?
Oh
what
yeah,
Pratt
guys,
has-
Pratt bought a new Lego set. Thank you, Pratt. Pratt, do you want to come here and present it yourself?
for the
You can present it. It's okay.
for remembering the Star Wars series. We want to
Yeah.
get the Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers were out of stock, right?
Stormtroopers are out of stock. Yeah. So we were thinking of considering essentially buying more and more Lego sets and just decorating the entire studio with it. I'm not a big Lego guy, and I never was. But after Pratt bought this, I was like, "Fuck! I kind of want to buy more now." So I'm gonna probably invest some time and money into
Excuse
building.
me?
Yes.
Buy
Yes.
more, guys.
Yes.
All of our money has to be spent on tokens from now on. MCPs. Oh, by the way, wow! If you use MCP, Unreal is not free anymore. I never thought about that.
It is. No, it is, bro. You
No,
can use.
of course, your project wouldn't be free.
No, your project. No, you can use DeepSeek. You can use.
No, it wouldn't be as good.
You just
bro.
told me yesterday.
When?
Open
That was
source
yesterday.
models. Open source
No,
models
guys,
are becoming as good as the other ones.
I said are becoming. Haven't become yet.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
No, but it haven't become yet.
you
But one thing you have to be
Pratt,
very
wasn't
careful.
him yesterday
Yeah,
who said,
it was
actually,
him.
you can use open source models. To
Not for Unreal.
Yes, you can.
No, I mean you can, but it wouldn't be as good.
No shit, Sherlock. Of course.
But
you can.
It's not free anymore. But it's okay.
No, it can be. It doesn't. No. Okay. Let's rediscuss this together, ladies and gentlemen, and try to convince Farhad why it's a good thing.
That
Let's talk
what?
about this. I'm trying to create an interactive museum or a game. Okay? I need to create a city. I don't know how to create a city. It's going to take me 5 to 10 days to figure it out, or buy a plugin. Hopefully, that plugin is going to help me. Alternatively, I can make my own plugin for pretty much the same price as if I would buy a plugin. Ultra Dynamic Sky, Pratt, can you please check this
$70.
price? I think I bought it at 100 something.
What? You
Yeah.
told me 70.
Yeah. So you're just guessing 70.
No. I think it was 70.
Anyhow,
Anything above 100 would
anyhow,
require special
with a
approval.
subscription, with a 1 month subscription, you can build that plugin
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah, actually, true. No, I think the cost is, what do you call it, justifiable, but you should give it a try. Because if we talk about the token cost, right? I spent the last 18 hours spending tokens on Claude design for our new education platform. Every single result was shit.
Yeah.
Every single one of them was shit. So imagine if you connect the MCP and
I
then you
wonder
try
if the
things
person
out.
who uses it is.
No,
is
actually,
the
I
one to
tried it.
blame.
I even asked Claude Chat to give me the prompt. The result were not
No, I
as
just
good.
said the person using it is the problem.
You can try. You can give it a try after. But what I'm telling you is, you have to see which LLM actually works best with Unreal. And I assume.
I think it's Claude.
Claude.
Because they're talking about it
And
too.
by the way, if you're doing complex work, I think at this stage we are very early. Probably it's not going to be that helpful. It would be
No,
helpful
Baba,
in certain
Baba,
levels.
listen
Baba,
to me.
listen
I'm
to
telling
Your
you,
Persian sun is coming
don't
up.
go inside Unreal Engine expecting Claude to build you the entire scene. I think that's stupid and it's useless. Use it to solve your problems. Pratt, how much time have you spent in forums looking for solutions to stupid problems inside Unreal Engine?
Oh, a lot. A lot. Before AI, good luck to me finding those solutions because I had to DM all the moderators, admins, go to forums, go to Reddit, go online.
You know, for instance, I had to wait for Punisher or William to release a video with one single line of console command that was a solution to the problem that I was facing for 2 weeks. Why do they know it? They either had connections at Epic Games. They
They
asked.
solve the problem.
No, you cannot just solve the problem. You cannot fucking come up with a console command.
That's true.
Either someone in Epic Games helped them, or alternatively, someone on X, they posted about it, someone from the community that knows, or they read the documentation. But it takes a long time to read the documentation. Now, if you can connect an MCP, it can hopefully solve all those problems. So, again, I want you to understand, when you start out as a 3D artist, especially in the beginning, you know yourself, how many times have we been working on a project where you want to focus on the character animation or the lighting or building the model, and then suddenly you're stuck with this stupid problem Like I said, the blurring problem or something's glitching or something ghosting, and you just want to get rid of it fast. But it takes you a day and a half just to solve that stupid problem. It feels amazing when you finally solve it, but you just wasted a day and a half.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense actually. No, if at the end of the day, if it helps you save time, and if it helps you deliver a better project, why not? You spend money.
That's
on
the whole point.
Yeah, you
right?
spend
That's the whole
money
point.
on the MCP.
Okay, let's
what is
move
your
on.
next best?
Okay.
update?
No. Before the next specs, I wanted to read something specific about the way they started the show.
Go on.
Thank you. Okay. They started the show by saying that Clair Obscur, which is a game we talked about previously before, was the most awarded game of all time. Arc Raiders, 900K plus, 900,000 plus players concurrently at one point. That's 1 million players.
What is the gameplay?
Arc Raiders.
No,
Pratt,
what is the
Pratt
gameplay?
played the
Is
game.
it like Fortnite?
Is it?
Or
No. It is kind of like Fortnite. You have a team of 3 people, and you're
like Counter-Strike.
No. It's like a very big lobby, 50 to 100 people.
Oh, so it's like
So it's like a battle royale, but it's survival. So you gotta scrape things, and then you can talk to each other. You
Have
can
you
shoot
played
each
it?
other. Yeah, I've played it. It's
Yeah,
one of
Pratt
my favorite
played it.
games.
Pratt talked about it a lot. It's one of your favorite games?
Yeah.
when it was released.
One of your favorite.
Wait,
You've been playing
when it-
without me?
When it was released.
You've been playing. I don't even.
It was released last year, I think.
We are working.
What have you been doing?
One of
You
your
guys are playing
favorite
FIFA when I'm
games.
not here.
How it
His
became one of your
favorite
favorite
game is
games
Arc Raiders. I don't
since
even know
last
about
year.
it.
I haven't even taken a holiday.
Do you guys now know who's actually running the show here? I'm not talking about this show alone. I'm talking about the whole show that is bad decisions.
Pratt has a favorite game.
It's not allowed, Pratt.
Hey, I was playing the game while working. My cloud was working on my stuff.
Okay, next point and the last one. The most watched. Did they say? I correct me if I'm wrong. They said the most watched movie on Netflix was K-pop.
No, the
Demon?
most watched animated something.
Okay, the most
K-pop
watched
Demon Hunter.
animated. Even if it was the most
let me
watched
double
animated
check.
movie, K-pop Demon
But
Hunters.
bro, it was so good. I didn't watch it, but this.
How do you know if it was so good? You haven't watched it yet. How do you know that?
The-
How does
the-
Farah
the
know?
scenes, Netflix.
The point I wanted to make is all these 3 were
Yes,
made.
K-pop Demon Hunters, Netflix most watched animated movie of all time.
The most watched animated movie of all time. So
More
any
than 541 million viewing hours. It's crazy. Wow. Why?
this is Arc Raiders, by the way. It looks
Oh,
beautiful.
looks-
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I don't know how they do it, but all these robots, they have robots which are really big, which looks like spiders, and they had trained it via machine learning. So every time the game is live and it's doing some stuff, it understands the terrain and it gets better and better. For example,
shit.
At beating you, yeah.
if the whole lobby is like camping in a corner, like in one house, and it's trying to like cheat out its way to like kill the robot, it understands. And it
After
tries to
2
get it.
games, they will change their strategy. and-
Yeah, it understands. It's live. It understands.
That's real
everything.
life, right?
It's gonna happen in real life. We are hiding in the studio, cheating the way, and then the stupid. Didn't you realize as you were explaining this
bro.
is gonna become a reality? There is like you're trying to cheat your way out of it, and you're like hiding in a studio, and then using machine learning, they find you, Brad. This is how it ends. Okay. Point I wanted to make is that all 3 were made with Unreal Engine, 2 of which are video games. One of them is an animated movie. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about the freaking potential of what you can have, whether you're an individual or a team or a massive company, using Unreal Engine, both in the video game industry and the film industry. And what's amazing is that the animated film, again, this is something that is made with Unreal Engine that could have been made with Blender, could have been made with Houdini, could have been made with 3ds Max and so many other tools, but it was made with Unreal Engine. And it was huge. I remember when they released it, it was massive. So I'm, one, proud and excited that so many incredible achievements have been made by people who have been using Unreal Engine. Now, with the advent of AI, we all know that there's a lot of new ways and new tools being introduced for us to create. And we talked about this a lot on the show. And I know that perhaps there's a slightly different demographic watching this right now.
Who's watching the show, by the way?
Yes, I'm not sure if you guys have been catching up with the show that we release weekly, twice. Tuesdays and Fridays, where we talk about everything in the world of technology, whether it's Unreal Engine
Can you guys
or
let us know in the
AI.
comment if you are watching the show
Yes.
twice a week, please?
I'm saying something, I'm repeating something that we've already said on the show. I want to make this very clear. When it comes to what our dream and vision is of the future, I will remove the word dream from that. What is our vision? Because dream is something I aspire. Vision is more like what I believe will happen. Content generation, I do believe it's being revolutionized. There is a change happening. And so there is a lot of new tools that will help you get to the point that you want to get to. And we believe, as people who are both artists and businessmen, that you need to learn these tools. And whether you like it or not, AI is involved in them because it makes them faster and more efficient. But you have to be very careful about what you talk about when it comes to this content generation, how you think about it, essentially. A lot of people ask us in the comments, almost every time we upload a video, the question is it still worth learning Unreal Engine? Should I just learn AI? Or should I go and learn Unreal? All of these questions appear all the time. And I think it's a fair question to ask. If I were to answer it myself, for myself, the answer would be both. I'd always learn both. And I always have. I learned Cinema 4D, then I went to Blender, and then I did Substance Painter, and then I did Unreal Engine, and then I did Houdini. Houdini I didn't explore all the way to the end because we ended up having too many client projects, and we're working on the Star Wars series and everything, so we didn't have the time to explore that fully. But I never stopped myself from learning more tools. And every one of those tools give me an experience that today gives me the power that I have when I use any of these tools. I can learn tools really fast because I've learned so many tools in the back.
No, you learned the difficult one first. Yeah. Now learning the AI tools, like,
no.
So if anybody knows how to work within Unreal or Blender, learning AI tools would be like this. Easy. And because of the understanding that you have, because of the knowledge that you have, and the problem solving skills that you have, then the rest of stuff would be easy. But you should be willing to learn. Sorry to cut you.
No, don't have to be sorry. Fuck you. I'm just I wanted to just say this. I will give you my recommendation of what I would do, and then I'll tell you the truth about what I think is actually going to happen. My recommendation is that you learn both, because I have seen if you learn either and stick to either and not learn the other, I think you're going to be left behind. Either way, whether you're in the Unreal team and the 3D team or the AI team. And I'll draw some examples to tell you. If you're going to just learn AI, you're going to be very fast. You're probably going to get a lot of clients early on, but you're going to be competing with an ocean of non-talented people, non-skilled people that can only make and create mediocre work. I'll give you some examples. Everywhere I go now, especially in the UAE or any other first world country in the West, I see a lot of AI products around me, or AI assisted products in terms of their marketing, in terms of their...
Like, let's just talk about ads.
Yes.
Menus in the restaurant.
Yes.
When you go to the airport, you see the billboard, your posters.
Yes.
We would see AI generated images everywhere.
Everywhere. Hell, even now, we were looking at the state of Unreal. One of the speeches, I don't want to name who, one of the speeches was made with AI, and it was obvious. It was obvious. I can almost bet my life on it. One of the people who was speaking on stage was using AI to rewrite the script or write the script. I'm not sure if they had the time to. I would do that. I would manually go ahead and change the script so it doesn't sound like AI. And so what I'm saying is, whether we want it or not, AI is coming into almost every aspect of our lives, and we have to deal with that, right? That's something we cannot run away from. But one of the things I can tell you is that the advantage of it is it does make you faster. You can do so many more things. And the disadvantage of it is that if you're only going to be using AI, what you're going to be left with is that you're going to prompt something to the AI, or you're going to ask it to do something, and it gives you a result, whether it's an image or a video or a game. Let's say prompt to game, that happens later on. But you have no skills or capability or taste to go ahead and change it and make it something great. Because if everyone has access to that same tool that can create images, videos, and games, then everybody's game and videos and images is going to look the same. The colors are going to look the same. The characters will look the same. And you have no capability to make it better. Just like the script that is written by AI, that I found out is written by AI, that I have no more intention to listen to because I know there was no effort put on top of that script. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or it's an ad that I'm seeing in the cinemas that I know is generated by AI that looks like every other ad that I'm seeing. So I pay no attention to it. So that ad doesn't actually convert. Again, the ad exists. It was made fast and cheap, but it doesn't actually do its job, which is converting me into a consumer. So
and that's not an AI problem. That's human problems.
AI makes it exaggerated. Yes.
Exaggerated. Before AI, if a lot of people were creating ads, the best, most unique, I would say the highest production ad would win and convert the most. Why? Because the people behind that ad made a lot of effort, did a lot of planning, did a lot
study
of
typography, study colors,
storytelling, study everything to make that ad so it converted better. Now imagine, instead of, let's say there was a pitch and 3 people or 3 groups of people proposed. Now with AI, 300 will propose.
Yes.
But guess what? 298 would pretty much be the same.
Because they all go to Claude. They all go to Claude.
The video that we showed in the previous show, right? Computer,
do. Yeah.
If you know how to use Unreal or any other tool, if you're skilled at Photoshop or After Effects or Premiere Pro, the moment you decide that, okay, I'm going to learn AI, I'm going to use it as a tool, then you're going to be 100 times better than the others. Let's talk about the other group. The other group who said that, oh, I'm going to stick to Unreal, I'm not going to touch AI.
Yes. The other group, what happens is if you're in the artistic side of things and you say, I'm just going to stick to Unreal and I'm going to stick to Blender.
Someone in the comments said they saw the speech. It was called out hard in the chat of Epic Games. You see, everybody now realizes that because, again, humans are really great at pattern recognition. No matter the pattern is in the way you speak, the way you draw, the image that you generate, why people can easily say AI generated. Whether it's a voice, whether it's an audio, whether it's an image or a text. People can easily say it.
Yeah, so because everyone's using the tool, so you know.
Done.
And guess what? We are training that tool. We ourselves, our responses to Claude and ChatGPT is retraining the tool.
Yeah.
So everyone will learn from it and everyone is going to teach it at the same time. If you are in the team of just the artists who are not going to use AI or are AI haters, because I got confused for a moment. I just want to finish off the AI side of points before I come to Unreal. If you are in the AI park and you refuse to learn the basics and the fundamentals, whether that's cinematography or colors or typography or camera animation, character creation, and every intricate bit of the art of creating stories and films and games, and you just go to AI and ask for the idea and ask it to do the things, you're going to generate output, and guess what? AI models are going to get better, so your output will look good, but it will look the same as everybody else's. And you have no talent to make it better and make it stand out. So technically, in my opinion, you'll make mediocre work and you'll be left behind. On the other hand, we have the Unreal artists or the Blender artists, Photoshop, After Effects, you name it. These guys are actually talented. You are talented. You have what it takes to create the best games, the best animations, and the best films. But you are going to be slower and slower and slower as people with AI become faster and faster and faster because they can write their scripts faster, they can make plugins to help them build their cities faster, they can build characters quicker, they can debug their codes faster, all those things. So they'll generate more and more and more and more, and by the time you're done generating one thing, they've generated 100. And 99 of them are bullshit. Like I said, 99 of them are going to be mediocre, created by mediocre creators, people. But the one that is going to win is the artist who decided to learn AI, is the person who has the skills of everything I mentioned before, cinematography, filmmaking, all that, and is using AI to help them build faster. So going back to why you don't want to be belonging to one side only is if you're only on the artist side and you don't want to learn AI, you'll be relatively slow, but skilled.
No, but especially, okay, let's talk about commerce too. Okay, we talked about the art part. Let's talk about the part that you actually want to make money. You have a client, they are comparing to proposal. You have great taste, you have great talent, and you have great skill. Some of the deliverables in the project can be AI generated and can make your project 10 times faster. For example, you are making a game, and for the sound design, you want to go to AI. For the voiceover, you want to go to AI. Or maybe you are a voiceover artist, for the image of the poster, you want to go to AI. It really depends on who you are and what you actually want to deliver. If you cannot compete with the other competitors, you will just lose the deal. You are a great artist, you are talented, but when, as someone who evaluates people or projects, I look at few metrics: quality, time, and money. You can have the highest quality, but if you give me something in 8 months, I don't need it in 8 months, I need it in 2 months. You have to deliver it. Cost as well. If you're hiring 200 people, where another guy can do it with 20 people, then the cost would be hugely different. So art is also one side. The other side is business and commerce. If you belong to one of the teams, you are going to probably lose a lot of deals. But if you are in a team that have both, then you can win.
You know, I'd like to add, for certain projects, I'd say AI only. And for certain projects, I'd say Unreal only, or 3D softwares and 2D softwares only. And for certain projects, I would say both. But I'll give you some examples so you understand. If you are, like you mentioned, doing a photo advertisement, like a photo, right? With just one frame, which is just pixels, that's all. Nothing's moving, it's just one-time creation. Of course, making that with AI right now, with the capability of ChatGPT Image 2.0, you can get 80 to 90% of the way there.
Depending on who your client is.
Depending on who your client is. But the point I want to make is that we've gotten so advanced in image generation that for the majority of clients, you can get there with the AI models today.
Sure.
But my biggest problem with that is that I'm going to ask you to just do it with AI. Only if you've been an artist before. That's my problem. If you have never used Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere, or these 3D
never
tools,
used a camera,
or never used a camera, or never drew in your life, how can you tell what ChatGPT Image 2.0 created is good? You don't have a taste. That's my problem.
That's sad.
But that's why, for instance, right now, we've already created the Ultimate Unreal program. We've done the Star Wars series. We've created lots of educational platforms and Blade Runner for Unreal Engine. We're also right now creating an AI educational program because we believe both sides are necessary. But we're naming them differently too. You know, when we're talking about them, where we're looking at who should have access to these and who would want access to these. When it comes to the AI platform, this is not just for artists anymore. You know, when you're talking about AI, it concerns everyone.
You know, freelancers or like business
owners. Everyone, developers, artists, technical people, non-technical people, old, young, everyone. You couldn't say that with Unreal Engine. Yep. You know, with Unreal Engine, there's a specific market, there's a specific kind of group of people that would be the ones who would use Unreal Engine. And it's, you know, you need a high level of skill to use it. Whereas with AI, this level of skill required to learn it, and the barrier to entry is much lower, which is why for the AI education, the people we're talking to is much wider. And of course, it's a lot simpler to learn, but the use cases are much wider. And for me, since I know a lot of you guys are in the Unreal Engine crowd watching this specific live stream, I invite you guys to think about that as well. If you haven't used AI tools before to help you become more efficient and more productive.
Actually, how many of you guys are actually using now in your workflow, whether it's a passion project or a client project? Can you guys put down in the comments so we see how many of you work with AI in any shape or form, right? Ideation, storyboard, audio, video, image. Let's see.
It could be like, have you used Claude skills to help you become faster and all those things? And all I want to say is that I think there's a sweet spot for people who can both learn the artistic side of things and the technological side of things, which is the innovation of AI and how they can combine both in the most artistic way to be able to stay in control in the creativity of it, but also let go of all of the sides that they hate, whether it's technical stuff or the bugs. And I think there's going to be that sweet spot that I'm trying to create for myself inside bad decisions. And I hope we can help you guys achieve that too. I've been Claude Code for Verse. How has it been using Claude Code for Verse, Chills?
Bless you. That was very loud.
Thank you. I tried to soften it as much as possible. Farhad, can I do a...
So somebody made a plugin for Blender. Who is this? 5786. Initial stage of integrating for game dev. What is this? Generating PCG, chaos fracture, audit logs, and codes. Yeah, I think it's... You know what is great about AI, actually? You use it where you need it. In our studio, we use it very differently. Every person is different. You might want to do something and you might hate doing another thing and you will hand it over to AI. I think if we look at it in the perspective of how it can help you in your project, actually it would be a very positive conversation. And I'm really happy actually they brought up the topic and they talked about it in the keynotes today. Yeah, this was one of the good demos that we saw.
Can I know this is exciting, but can I be honest? There's something more exciting for me. Can I show that?
Go ahead.
Can we take a look at mesh terrain, Pratt?
Oh yeah.
That was for me.
Which one?
I don't know about you guys. Mesh terrain was the craziest thing. I mean, guys.
Oh, wow.
Making a scene like this, because you know when I see a scene like this, you know what I think about? Mega landscapes inside Lord of the Rings, like fantasy worlds.
Yes.
Building massive fantasy worlds with lots of mountains,
rocks,
caves, overhead cliffs. All of that was reserved to matte painters, you know, because they do it on a 2D scale, and it's much easier to draw that. It's an incredibly hard. It's an incredibly hard skill to master, but doing it inside Unreal Engine was just more difficult in terms of its capabilities.
This is the landscape tool, right?
Yeah.
No. What?
Landscape tool.
No. They're changing the landscape tool. So the landscape tool is actually going to be, I hope, deprecated. This is called mesh terrain. It's based not on my height maps, but on meshes and 3D. Yes, 3D meshes. So you
what
can.
Was the app that we used for
Gaia?
Dune?
Gaia.
So it will be similar to.
No. It's better actually.
Better than Gaia?
Not okay. There are two different workflows. So Gaia is 2D only. So imagine anything you can do is just 2D. Making sand dunes or anything. You cannot make caves or overhangs. Anything that has a space underneath.
Like you couldn't go ahead and create a round shape and then put a hole inside it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what Pratt's trying to say. I would say for the specificity,
definitely you need an update.
Specificality.
Specificality.
That's a word.
No, it's not a word, but specificity.
It's okay. They understand.
If we all understand it, it's a fucking word, man. It's a fucking word, bro. It is a word. Specificity is a word. I made it up, and it turned out to be true.
Specificity. It's actually specificity. Let me pronounce it. Specificity.
Not specificity. Specificity. And don't use it. It's my word.
Don't use it.
Yeah, it's my word. Can we
not use it?
You're not allowed to use it. Specificity.
So what was so specific about that?
I don't even remember what I was going to say, but I like the new word that I found. This, Farhad, this is something that I actually tried to do for one of our tutorials on YouTube, and it just didn't work with the landscape tool.
We tried it. Okay, we tried it actually at every project. First, Egyptian project.
Yes.
Second, the DJ
definitely
visuals.
For Dune and Blade Runner, I tried, but it wouldn't work. Just
Yeah.
making a landscape, you
It's
had to
hard.
go out and get PNG height maps and try
Yeah.
to pull that into great detail, and it never worked right. This is technically like putting Legos. Like you keep putting Lego
So this
pieces
is
of
now in
environment.
5.8 we get this feature mesh
Yes,
terrain. So
yes,
is it a plugin that we need to enable or
Maybe, maybe not. Can I be honest though?
yes?
The one thing that bothers me that hopefully, okay, this is where AI gets interesting. Pratt, pause the video right here. Okay. This is where AI becomes interesting. Because every time we see samples like this with Unreal Engine,
And then you go and make it yourself.
You go in all excited. You're like, okay, I can put the hole inside the massive thing, the rock, but then how do I make the grass automatically appear around the cave? Oh, I need a PCG setup that is fucking complicated and I do not understand how to use it. Let's be honest, no one has made a phenomenal PCG tutorial. At least the last time I checked it was about 4 months ago. I hadn't seen,
Because Bad Decision hasn't made any.
yeah. It was complicated and I never spent the time to learn it. Nodes is not my
Area of
strongest
expertise.
suit. No, it's not. I agree with you. My biggest problem is I look at this, it's cool, but then how do you make it so that when you create that fucking hole, there could be fire or that lava or whatever it is inside the interior? How can you make it so that the grass grows around the openings of any shape that you create? You need PCG setups for that so that it's procedural. But Pratt, can you make it?
No, I cannot make it.
Can you make it?
Nope.
Can I make it? No.
Can MCP make it?
MCP
Maybe.
hopefully can. Hopefully, that's my hope. Because using mesh terrain is going to be relatively simple. That's how they promised it's going to be. But making the procedural graph, I assume it's going to be complicated.
Okay, we got a lot of files since you mentioned you haven't seen one. We are getting a lot of recommendation for the PCG, so we have a list to check out right after the show.
Already downloading 5.89. Sarkamari, I know that YouTuber. Does he have a good setup? Procedural Worlds is the best YouTube channel for that, as far as I've seen myself.
No, Procedural Minds, I think.
Procedurals Worlds, someone said. Oh, sorry,
correct.
Procedural
Yeah,
Minds.
Minds.
You're right.
Yeah,
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 Procedural
yeah.
Minds. Okay, thank you guys. I'm gonna check those out. I just hope that they're simple to learn. I understand.
Else your MCP will do it.
Yeah, I will just wait for MCP to be honest. Like
No,
even
it's out, right?
What is that? MCP is out.
Yeah.
yeah. So because for example, even the node system or let's say even the textures, as a beginner, anybody coming in, good luck to them.
You can't.
You
You
cannot.
can't.
You cannot.
No,
Even
no.
if you watch the tutorial for, let's say for our course, right? I'm the guy who's supporting everybody, right? People have questions like as simple as, oh, how can I scale something? How can I connect this node to this thing? Why is it not connecting? So these are basics. Of course, you wouldn't know because you're a beginner. And while you're watching these tutorials, it takes you few times and few iterations to finally learn how to do it. But me, I hate spending time on things. If I'm in my flow, I just want to do it.
Yeah.
So for me, MCPs, I'm gonna be like, okay, I don't need no tutorial.
Yeah.
I know what I want.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. My problem is when we were making the sand dunes, I really wanted to spend time on creating the craziest environments and shots for Dune. But you know the biggest problem I had? I had to fucking sit down in the material graph, figure out how to make a sand material that looked real. Nobody had a good tutorial for it. I checked it. If you guys come and fucking tell me there's a YouTuber who covered it and it's good, I'll fucking come and chase you down. Because I tried. I searched. None of the why there is a free plugin by a great developer that you can download, but then like I said, the plugin is made for them. They made it free for everyone to use, but it's made for them. It's not actually the one I needed. And two, there are other YouTubers that did make their sand material, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. And I had to teach it on YouTube to beginners.
Yes.
So I had to figure out how to make it. It took me a whole day to figure it out, or a day and a half. And this was my second attempt. So I tried it again in the previous year. Now, I honestly think, especially for this, again, as Pratt mentioned, the fact that rock, Pratt, can you point out the edges of the rock? The top, go to the top. Yeah, there. You see how it has its dark spots and bright spots, and then you can have snowfall on the top.
Yeah.
Remember the trailer for the game Wakanda?
Oh, the one
shit,
Unreal
there's
showed?
snow on everything.
They
yeah.
showed that I think a
Last
year
year,
ago to
last
this day, no one I know can fucking make that scene.
Yeah, no, bro. Internal teams, even what is that jungle? Electric Forest. Still to this date, the way they plant everything, it's so good.
Yeah, it is good, but electric, yeah, yes.
The one that the Rivian was inside of it.
Nobody that I know can make something like that.
right?
Nobody.
I think internal teams.
I'm hoping that with MCP we get access to do something like
Yeah,
that.
actually, the MCP can go and analyze that project. Good luck to your tokens.
Okay,
And
Lithium
then-
Logica is here to just destroy me today with recommendations on YouTubers
No,
and
it's
YouTube
Andreas
videos.
Visuals.
No, Lithium Logica is like recommending something. Andreas is also, yeah. No, I know about the Unreal Sensei tutorial. I tried it, but it didn't work as well as ours for my scene specifically, and I recommend that you try it out. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. Unreal Sensei is great, by the way. No beef. Wait, they have the snow and everything coming on top and appearing. Wait, it's gonna happen. Like no one that I know. Oh, there you go. Go back. Yeah, see. Zoop. Wait, and then they have more. See, they have that.
The frost.
And then the frost. No, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's the wet layer, and even more and more rocks on top. Like layering all of that and then making it procedural.
The name
Who
of the
fuck
game
knows
is
that?
layering.
Yeah, it
One
is
thing,
layering.
It is definitely layering. The more layers, the more detail.
Where's this game? Is it not
Is it out?
I don't think so. I never heard
Should
anything
be
about
the
it.
Rise of Hydra.
The
demo was great.
2027 is gonna come.
What?
Yeah.
Bro, how much money do you spend on these games? How much
Bro,
money?
it's Marvel.
Actually, yeah.
Relax. It's Marvel.
But yeah.
So
Maybe-
looking at the multiple materials, guys, how many people in the comments today can make something as complex as that? You cannot. So even if you were to make a
Let them
game,
answer. What do you mean you comment?
you can't because I can't. Okay, let's be honest. If I spent all of my time to figure it out, I can. What I'm saying
What
is
about our clients?
I don't have the time to spend all of that time on the materials because I'm not paid by Marvel.
Yes.
If every one of us has access to that knowledge because MCPs can do that, I'm all for MCPs, man. Andreas is like, maybe.
Check your.
I challenge you.
Check your notes. Have we missed any?
Okay. So, as we knew this before, but anyways, I'm just going to mention it. UE 5.8 will have lots of the experimental features transition into production ready, including Megalites, Live Link Hub,
We already
Lumen.
used Megalites for our Ultimate Unreal Engine course anyways. It was last year.
Yeah, but production
We
ready
tried it.
as in you can ship with Megalites a game and
Didn't we
not
ship?
have it break.
Did we
No,
ship it?
ship as in you give your
I'm
project
saying.
to somebody else.
Dubai Police did we use Megalites or no?
I think it was before Megalites.
You
if I'm
did
not
it?
Before
wrong.
Megalites.
I think so.
Yeah.
Then more lights.
Then MetaHuman Animator, we talked about that. I really want to try that out. Physically accurate defocus. Oh, 16K renders.
That's good.
We
for
have
Sphere.
Dell
But
computers.
No, wait a minute. Why they didn't show Sphere? Animals show. I thought there
They
was
showed
going to
Animals
be.
show in the intro
That was
video.
like 3 seconds. I thought someone would come. I think that's one of the
We need
most
to get Yogis.
successful use cases.
We need to. Should I call Yogis now?
We should call Yogis and you come on the live stream and talk about how they did it. But I'm not talking about the Anima in Sphere. That was great. Anima's new show at Coachella. They use Unreal for that.
They use
the
Unreal.
Aiden
Yeah, but no,
show-
they don't need Megalites for that.
No, not Megalites, but I'm sure they did something extra.
They did something extra. No, but did they use 5.8?
I'm sure.
I don't think so.
Bad Bunny also used it.
Yeah, but that was a very simple use case.
I think it was just the MetaHuman showcase that they're using MetaHumans.
Wow, look at that. Wait, go back. Let's look at that light again on the eyes. Pause. How did they achieve this? What did they see? Let me tell you something, okay? Star Wars, right? Star Wars. Is this a MetaHuman?
Yeah,
Probably
that's
is.
a MetaHuman.
The problem is these guys have. I mean, okay, we have connections with Epic too, but there are different levels of connection you can have. We talked to some of the big guys at Epic Games, but what I'm seeing here is that the team at Star Wars, the developer team and the artistic team, had connections to the developer team and artistic team at Epic Games.
No,
and they kept
bro,
talking.
it's not like that. The artist said what they want. The developer team did it.
Yeah, look at that. This looks so good. Wow. Kind of want to play Arc Raiders with you now, Pratt.
Yeah.
The finals. Oh, the finals as well.
Same developer, Arc Raiders and Finals.
Yeah, MetaHumans. 16K is insane. So we get 16K, and let's be honest, I wouldn't be excited about that unless I had Blackwell A6000 Pro GPUs running in the studio. Not like I'm bragging right now, but we do have 2 of them in the studio.
This is Blackwell too, right?
Yeah.
No, this is Blackwell, but not 6,000.
What is this?
5,000.
5,000.
Is Blackwell 5000 better or 4090?
5,000.
Blackwell 5,000.
So this one is better than your old computer.
Yes.
Yes. But
no but. It's
at the end of the day, when you're running a laptop it's an
But bro,
unfair
this is not a laptop,
competition.
it's a 10 kg laptop.
Yeah, it's an unfair competition because of cooling.
Okay,
That's
I'm
the
cool.
only- and power. And
I'm
all that.
cool with that.
Nonetheless,
By the way,
16K
we
is
talked a lot about the Ultimate Unreal Engine program. For those of you who don't know, that's the program that we teach Unreal Engine in 14 days. That's something that we made after our Star Wars series. And for anybody, I saw a lot of people actually have taken it who are in the chat. If you haven't taken it, we have a summer sale going on, which has 50% off. Usually we don't have this kind of
I
discounts
convinced
on the
Farhad.
program.
I convinced Farhad to do this.
Yes.
Farhad was like,
stingy.
no, we can't do it. I was like, Farhad,
50%. I said, okay.
how about 51?
It's 50% already, Pratt. Can you go to the
51 would
price?
look so weird, like 51%. I've never seen 51% off.
No, it's 50% off.
It's 50% now. But yeah, we
50.
teach MetaHuman, Niagara, motion design, AI workflows. Actually, we started teaching AI longer. That was last year.
Yes.
Actually, we are the first ones to even test like GPT and stuff. Remember?
Bro,
Yes,
there's a
there was a
vlog
first-
where we tested ChatGPT
Yes.
early versions with Blender.
Yes.
Yes.
Pratt,
So
can you put the link in the chat? For
Sure.
people can go to the site.
if you haven't gotten the program yet or haven't gotten into the program, I do want to let you know that although our program, once you enroll, because this is the website, the program itself has a platform. We're updating that platform, so it's going to be looking even better for anybody who's already in it. And for if you're not, it's basically the software that we're using that we're making
the hosting platform, basically.
Yeah, the
because
hosting.
the AI program also will go on the same
Yes,
platform.
yeah.
So you will have the Unreal Engine and AI together then.
Taught
Faraz?
me everything I needed to start my journey. I recommend it with all my heart. Taught me everything I needed
Oh.
to start my journey, and I'm not sponsored.
Thank you,
Andreas,
Andreas.
you're the best. Okay, I have talked about everything that I saw that was interesting to me.
I think
someone,
it's time to
I think
download.
there was a person in the chat kept talking about Verse. The only thing is, I haven't particularly used Verse
Pratt
much
is
myself.
Verse.
Pratt
Pratt
was using
Verse.
Verse with the Fortnite map they were creating. Pratt, do you have any comments or anything that you were excited about, particularly with regards to Verse?
Okay, so Verse, it's something similar to how Roblox games work. They have their own system called as Lua. All the games work on the same code. It's gonna be really interesting because if they make Verse is kind of very similar to Lua, which is really simple to use. So it's like, if somebody touches this block, the block changes green. That's how you code, basically. It's really simple. It's not overcomplicated or anything like that. With MCPs coming in, I think you don't even have to really learn.
Oh yeah, the MCP will have Verse skill.
They will, and this is the announcement that they made. The long hair guy that looked like Farhad. The guy,
Actually, can you bring that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, zoom
Yeah,
in.
he's
Yeah, it doesn't look like me, right?
If you put
Gee,
on
his hair-
glasses,
No, wait, look at
if
his
you
hair.
put on
Give me the
glasses and just can you take your hair and really push it down?
Look, let me
Just
try.
push it down completely.
I'll try my best.
Yeah,
try
you look.
my
Yeah,
best
see,
here. I'll try my best to do the not that similar.
Yeah, it actually
Wait, let me
does
tell you.
kinda look-
Okay,
Alright,
actually,
guys, can we
has
take some votes in here?
He has
like
a
that?
much better hair game. His
It
hair
does
is
look
all
like
the way to
Farhad.
his elbows. Let me
Farhad,
see.
it does look like you, yeah.
I'm trying.
Actually, can you do this stuff? Why haven't you ever done
Actually,
this
why? I
stuff?
haven't
Hold the
done
mic
this.
and try to talk about Unreal with the other hand.
With
Like
the-
mimic him. Left
the-
hand.
okay,
Right
yeah.
hand hold the mic. Left hand.
Hey,
do-
don't confuse me.
Right hand hold the mic.
With the latest update, we are going to talk about AI in the MCP. Now that we have... Oh, Pratt is giving me a mic. Okay, we
Yeah,
have an
it's
extra
it looks Farhad. It does look like guys. It does
Really?
look like
Does it?
Farhad. Yeah. Yes. Put your hand up like that. Yeah. Yeah, bro, you guys look alike, bro. you guys look alike. Seriously.
So, that was a special episode.
Yes.
By the way, we usually come back to you guys every Tuesday and Friday. Actually, guys, since we are doing this now, more than 100 people have been watching this. Why not we do our show live?
We've discussed that.
We discussed that, right? Because I always
We've
thought the
discussed
time
it.
zone doesn't match. Would you guys like to see our show live? Would it help? Because then you can ask questions, drop topics, show us. I don't know, if you see something interesting on X, then we can debate.
We've
How would
always
it
done the
change?
show pre-recorded,
Because
but
it's
we
the exact
upload
same
it on the
thing.
same day. We upload the show on the same day.
That doesn't make...
We could potentially test doing the show live.
one time and then see how it's going to work, because what I really like is the interaction that we get. So imagine we ask questions and something that we don't know, people can respond. They can ask us to cover something, and then we can cover it live. I think that's
we could. I don't mind it at all.
We
I mean,
could?
We could. I enjoy talking to you guys, because it does feel kind of lonely when it's just us.
Yeah.
And now there's it's like there's 100 and odd number of people here, and
Yeah.
it's more amazing because I get to see you guys here in the chat. I would love to do that.
But we are
what
gonna
if
give
what
it a
if we
try.
what if we test it out?
Yeah, we do it one episode.
We can test it out. We can perhaps do.
We should do
We
an
have 2 episodes
announcement.
per week, so we have Tuesdays and Fridays. But we can try to do for a
Friday.
whole month.
No,
wait.
Try one time.
No. For a whole month, for instance, we can say Fridays will be live streams and Tuesdays pre-recorded. Test it out and see how we feel. If we like the Fridays more than the Tuesdays, we convert the Tuesdays to the Fridays.
You're a smart man today.
And if you don't like it, we convert the Fridays to the Tuesdays.
I like what you're saying, and we're
Alrighty,
gonna do it.
all right.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining this live stream. It was great talking to every single one of you. We are gonna be back on Friday with the latest.
Wait, this
and the
way Farhad
hottest.
and Pratt can't play FIFA. How about going live every alternate episode, and once you go live and the next episode pre-record? Who is this?
Exactly.
Me and you think exactly the same way. We should kiss.
Yes.
Right now. How can we email you? Can you, what is the email, Pratt, that we give to everyone?
Try either
Give
team,
Farhad's
team,
personal
team.
email.
No, team at Bad Decisions. Why do they need to email us, by the way?
Yeah, just come on Discord, open up a ticket.
Yeah,
I'm in
ticket on
Vancouver.
Discord.
Oh,
He's in
we'll be
Vancouver.
back in Canada very soon, by the way.
Yes, after the World Cup.
We want to, guys, the thing is, we're honestly speaking, can I just make one final announcement and make it as personal as possible? And I swear to God, with all of my heart, I'm telling you 100% the truth of how I feel and my current state of consciousness. I'm sharing it with you right now. Guys, we've been tearing, if this is our butthole, right now it's this. And it's about to become this. We're tearing ourselves apart to go live with the AI education platform, because we do this all the time. I want to be very clear about this. We looked at everyone else trying to teach AI in this space, whether it's for creativity or for technicality, coding, whatever,
Productivity,
anything. 80%, 99% are garbage. And we went in, we subscribed, we paid just to go around the platform, and we vomited. And so we said, okay, how do we not do any of what they're doing and make it the way Bad Decisions makes it and make it actually useful? So we made things and remade them just like we did with Unreal, like how we made the
But it
scenes of
doesn't work that
Samurai
way, yeah.
and we remade the scenes. We literally went in, made whatever, I don't want to disclose it yet, we made the thing, then remade it again and remade it again. And then this is no joke, guys. Okay, so YouTube is a platform, right? It's a video streaming platform. There are icons, buttons, things that are so beautifully placed that you don't even think about them. You're just used to YouTube. You just go there, watch your videos, everything works. So the same thing should be true for an educational platform, but that's not the case. I only found out after we started teaching people. When you want to teach people and create programs, you go to these platforms that make teaching easy, but they make it ugly and non-user friendly and horrible. So on our end, we've had in the back end, you have never noticed it, but so much trouble dealing with these platforms because we wanted to do more for you guys, but it was impossible. And the reason why we're telling you we like AI and we're not against it is because AI enabled us to do something that we could never do, not just monetary wise, but technicality wise and capability. Like no one would spend time going through hundreds of iterations on a website for our Unreal an AI educational platform, because if they did, we had to pay them millions. And honestly, okay, we don't have millions to just pay for a website, but we can now spend all of that time with AI. And we're trying to make the most incredible experience for you. And it's coming soon. Fingers crossed. June. No, not June. Sorry.
Yes, you said it.
Fingers
June,
crossed.
June.
Fingers crossed.
29th.
July.
Okay.
July. By mid-July, we've already launched ish. So just like, no, I'm doing it exactly like Epic
bro,
Games.
you just told me beginning of July.
Okay, July, early to mid-ish.
No, mid-ish. Beginning
Early-ish.
of July. Say
Early
it.
July.
100 people are here.
July.
Swear, on my name.
Early-ish. We're gonna be launching the new program, all new website, new experience.
Don't call it website. It's a platform.
New platform, new experience, new tools. All going to be very useful, and this one will help you in all facets of life. So it's not just Unreal focus or 3D focus. It will be focused in many different
we
aspects.
cover foundations. I think that's
Yes.
the most important
Yes.
part, right? So we divide it into two sections. One is foundation. Foundation are timeless information that you need. AI is very different with Unreal, right? With Unreal, things changes so quickly, once a year, twice a year.
Yeah.
AI, every month, every week. But
Every week, not every month.
when you know the foundation, these foundations do not change. How does an image get generated? How to talk an LLM? How does an LLM work? What are the fundamentals of a good prompt? These doesn't change when you go from this tool to another tool, or when Fable 5 comes out after Opus 4.8. We teach you the foundation, and then there will be playbooks. Playbooks are actual projects that we will do with you. For example, you want to launch a product, you want to make a video, you want to make a photo, you want to clone yourself to make social media content. These are projects that you can take, whether it could be paid with a client or for yourself and for your company.
And even using things like Claude skills. If you've heard of them, great. If you haven't heard of them, even better. Claude skills, I talked about this earlier on. Even guys understand the reason why this is important. If the guys at State of Unreal talked about Claude skills, which is a completely different tool, completely different product, on their announcements, it means it's important. So please pay attention. It really does help. And whether you're an individual or an artist or running a business, doesn't matter who you are, you can actually use these things to help you. And our goal at Bad Decisions has always been trying to give you what we use in the studio and making it easier to understand. Because when we learn it and when we consume it, we may learn it the hard way, but when we're trying to give it to you, we try to make it as easy and as cool and as entertaining as possible. That's what we're trying to do here. And like I said, we're getting torn apart, but we're going to be launching soon, early July. And we also completely changed our strategy from the Ultimate Unreal program to this new program. This is going to be a subscription, but the entrance to this is going to be far easier than ever before. So everybody, and I mean everybody in this chat, is going to be able to come in. Especially if you guys are going to come in early, it's even better. Let me just put it that way. I'm super pumped.
I'm super pumped.
Pratt, are you super pumped?
I am super pumped.
I am super pumped. Are you super
Everybody
pumped?
is super pumped.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for joining. We love you, as you know, and we'll be back on Friday. Guys, please don't. Okay, I know this is the third time that we said goodbye. Close that mouth. I have something to say. I want to talk about the importance of the show that we do twice a week.
Sorry, can I cut you off for a moment? People are like, okay, they're leaving. Okay, no, they haven't. Like, oh, but they're done.
No, but it's important because it's the time that we are live with you guys, and I can tell you all the things that we have in our head because we haven't been posting stories that much, and I think this is a great avenue to talk to you. We do the show twice a week. The show itself, before we started, it takes us several hours to go through the internet to find out where did Faraz go. Faraz, did you leave? I'm talking about the show, man. You're here. Come. He's here. I need the big cam. Okay. Did you come from under the table?
I'm trying to see I'm trying to make this wholesome.
Wholesome. Okay, good. We spent several hours to research, to find out what are the good things that are announced, what are the tools that we can use, what are bullshit that people are talking about. For example, they will say that, oh, this AI tool can now make this app and you can make $1 million with it. Probably bullshit. You can now generate the whole movie with one click under 30 seconds. Probably bullshit. We felt a lot of both positive and negative feelings when we were going through Instagram and X. And we found out this show is the best way for ourselves to get educated and also transfer that feeling to you guys. So when you open and you see all these people talking about, oh, Cloud Code can now make your company's website in 1 second. No, it cannot. Yes, it can, but it would look ugly. So you would know where you stand. That's why the show doesn't cover AI, doesn't cover Unreal. It's more general about the tech space and what you need basically in order to thrive in this space.
Thank you very
I
much.
wanted to kiss you, but like, oh, small brother.
The fuck, man?
No, you're a small brother. I can kiss you.
Not on the show, man. Keep it professional.
Yeah, sure. You are very professional. Can we go under the table?
They didn't see I came from under the table. They just saw me disappear.
But
Magic.
thank you guys again for joining this live stream.
We will see you guys on Friday.
Bye.
For another show episode.
I swear this is bye.
I have another topic,
No,
guys.
no, 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 no. Let them go. Let them go.